Hello.
Hello.
This is WUBRGxyz. We're coming to you from MTG Card Market in Chicago. We're bringing you Legacy tonight, 4 rounds. My name is Greg Schaefer.
3 rounds.
Sorry. Forced to have it.
Yep.
3 rounds. My name is Greg Schaefer.
I'm Phil Silverman.
And we are giving away a Sylvan Library today.
Woo!
It's only 3 rounds because I guess the weather's nice. We also have a bunch of locals who are traveling this weekend.
Yeah, it just seems to be more unlucky than anything else. I don't know why this keeps happening because we have a pretty strong community.
It ebbs and flows, yeah. 1 week it could be 24 people. The next week it could be barely firing. Yeah. So what can you do? Mm-hmm. All right, people already showed up in the chat. Yeah. What up, Cook the Fourth and WUBRGxyz and Turn 1 Lackey?
Okay. I will say, so we were gonna have Kyle Houtman, who usually plays Sneak and Show, on camera to start, and he said, and then Nathan Mullins, who plays any number of decks, said I will do it. He's like that's okay as long as I'm not on camera with him. Appropriately is on camera.
Yeah. Well, fortunately for us, he agreed to play on camera.
Yeah. But yeah, it looks like we have a match getting ready for us right now. So let's get started.
Awesome.
I'll see if we can get some more appropriate info here. But we'll leave the Sylvan Library up for now. We'll be giving that away probably considering we're 3 rounds after round 2.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
We also are working with a new overlay today, courtesy of our benevolent overlord, Mark McManus.
Good man, Mark.
I think he did some work over the weekend, possibly while watching the Pro Tour. What on earth?
Oh, God.
Oh, God.
Oh, God, what did I do?
Kyle.
Oh, I just, messed everything up.
That's cool.
Let's see. How's this supposed to be?
Can you... We have to, edit it, I think.
Left player name is Nathan Mullins.
All right, well, that worked. Anthrax pastry. Oh, God.
What have I done?
I don't know.
Why is this like this?
All right.
Why do you do this to me?
Might have to edit scene. So I think font size 65. That's probably
correct.
Yeah. Oh, so it's not that.
Yeah, I think we have to edit the scene.
All right, so hit OK. You can do that, right?
Yep, that's it.
All right, that's a little blown up.
Oh my God.
Everyone, thank you for bearing with us. We're working out the kinks here as our players get the first turn underway. We have a Lotus Petal into a Ponder. Might be signaling that Kyle kept a hand light on land.
Yeah, usually blowing up a Petal for a cantrip is not a super common play, unless you're playing a deck like Storm, which I know Kyle tends to not play.
Right. He is playing Sneak and Show though. Maybe he kept maybe it's a really explosive hand, and or maybe a hand with multiple ponders.
That's certainly reasonable, and could indicate that his hand is actually a bit better than we understand right now. So
is it Mullins or Mullen? I'm actually not sure.
I'm also not sure.
All right. I think there's no S, but
look, man.
He has a big personality, so it's kind of like there are multiple of him.
There are several Nathan Mullins here.
Thank you guys for your patience as we, when I say we, I mean Phil fixes the overlay.
Mostly me, and I forgot to start the timer.
Yeah,
Great, we're so prepared.
Anything that involves, technical ability, it's probably not me, ever.
I believe it.
Yeah. That's just, in general, not even just the stream.
You're skilled in other ways. Would you disagree?
That's generous. Thank you.
Here we go. All right, we got names, we got stuff. Let's move on. And are the life totals different? Yeah, we have one fetch from Kyle.
Yeah, Kyle's at 19. And WUBRGxyz, Nathan is indeed wearing his backpack while playing. I think he also might have the buckle. No, I think he undid the buckle around his waist. Nathan's an odd duck. He likes his backpack, though.
Alright, and looks like Kyle is playing Sneak and Show. Kyle sort of goes back and forth on Sneak and Show and Delver recently. So I didn't want to jump the gun before I knew exactly what he was playing.
Right.
Sneak and Show. Oh my God.
A little large.
Oh my God. Everything's terrible.
Yeah.
Nothing is going right for me right now.
I wonder how the people last night did, because it seems like they left it in a poor state.
It's okay. We fixed it. It's usable.
It's all fixed.
Everyone's happy.
Do you want to try the other scene where we just have the play area?
Oh yeah, let's go down to our different scene.
Ooh.
Oh my god.
Oh, that's unfortunate. All right, let's go back to the other scene. All right, let's just leave it like this. Still working out the kinks here, guys. And just so you know, if anyone missed it, when we first came on, Sylvan Library is on the right of your screen because that is what we are giving away tonight. It's actually an Italian Legends copy of Sylvan Library.
Ooh, it's
Do you
real
think
sweet.
I should take this off?
Nah, leave it on.
Yeah?
Let them know.
It's so I don't know.
Gauche?
Yeah,
Yeah,
to
it's
leave their
gauche.
price tag on things. Especially gifts, right? This is a gift.
Insanity. So we see a main phase brainstorm from Kyle, and then just a pass. Looks like he's a little short on assembling the combo here. And I think he's a little worried that Nathan is gonna have Pyroblast up, so he probably wants to focus more on sneak attack than show and tell.
Makes sense.
And we do see that Nathan has at least one Pyroblast in his hand.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, we see a fetch from Arid Mesa. Fetching another. I believe those are snow-covered mountains, right?
Yeah, probably.
All right.
Nathan, a big Scred fan. I doubt it's in this deck.
I would be surprised.
But he already had the snow-covered mountains, so might as well use them, right?
Yeah, I mean, if they're there.
Yeah.
And it looks like he's trying to play around Spell Pierce here, fetching first and playing Grindstone. We'll see if Kyle lets that resolve. Here's the thing. Can Nathan actually kill Kyle in game 1?
Because of Emrakul?
Yeah.
He can beat down.
He can. I mean, I guess that's a possibility.
I don't know if. I don't think Painter typically plays any ways like surgical to get around Emrakul in the main deck.
Hey, Ian. How's it going?
I Farnung, Chicago local, and Legacy Connoisseur.
The one and only.
Yeah.
Looks like Kyle does have Sneak Attack in his hand, but he doesn't have a Fatty. Yeah, there's a Lotus Petal. Let's see if he decides to actually play the Sneak Attack this turn. Yeah, I think that's what's going to happen. Nathan's not going to be able to prevent this in any sort of way. Undo.
Did not tap the Lotus Petal.
He's got Force of Will, Gitaxian Probe, and he does have Emrakul, but he does not have the extra mana this turn.
Sure. So he is going for it.
This will not kill Nathan.
It will not.
Nathan could just... I was going to say, Nathan could just not play a land.
Yeah. It looks like he's trying to flood the board with permanents.
I mean, not a horrible plan.
Yeah, I mean, if he gets something that he can cast here, like Painter's Servant, he could potentially leave himself... Oh, or that.
That's a good one. Looks like we have Imperial Recruiter searching up Phyrexian Revoker.
Phyrexian Revoker.
Near and dear to Greg's heart.
Legacy staple. Maybe Legacy Powerhouse would be a better way to phrase it.
It's a reasonable description, I'd say.
2/1, and it basically has the text of your opponent can't play the game.
Yep.
What? Oh, this is in response.
No. It got Force of Will.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I missed something
Yes.
there.
Revoker got Force of Will. So Nathan had no more plays.
Okay.
Kyle went activate Sneak Attack, put an Emrakul, attack you, and Nathan said no blocks.
Fair.
Annihilate all of my permanents, and now I'm at 2 life, and hope you just never draw a creature.
Mm-hmm.
This is not the worst for Nathan, especially because he has a mountain now. He can just counter any cantrips that Kyle has. Like, the cantrips are going to be a big part of him finding action here, unless he just naturally draws one.
Yeah, and if he can find... I don't know if there's another Revoker in his deck, or if he can find, like, a Goblin Welder to get the Revoker back.
Yeah, that would be great. And some other artifact, hopefully. Looks like Kyle just does nothing. Yeah, Kyle drew Lotus Petal for turn. Ooh, Jayaballard. That's a nice one.
Yeah. That card is very good.
Yes, it
I
is.
respect it.
So we see City of Traders tapping for 2 and casting a Grindstone and then a pass. Nathan just going to hold up blasts for as long as he can.
Mm-hmm.
And Kyle just going to have to pass back.
Ooh, Nathan drawing Blood Moon. Not that good here.
Not great, I'd say. The fact that Kyle searched out a basic island earlier means that he's ready for it.
Yeah.
And he's drawn Scalding Tarn, so he can get another basic if he wants.
Looks like he has another Sneak Attack in his hand, among other cards.
I'm wondering if he has a Dig Through Time in there. I think it is.
Possible. He can't cast it this turn.
No, even with the Lotus Petal, he's going to be short.
Mm-hmm.
That'll give him 5 mana and then 2 cards in graveyard. That's only 7.
when you're thinking about Dig Through Time when it's like in your hand, you can sort of look at fetch lands as 2 mana and Lotus Petal as 2 mana.
Yeah. So it looks like we have an activation of Grindstone. I believe it is.
Yeah, why not? Maybe he's trying to...
I don't know how he has the mana activated. I believe Grindstone is 3 to activate.
Oh yeah, you're right. Is he just doing it on his own turn? No. What just happened?
I'm wondering when the... Oh yeah, so this... He did draw Dig Through Time. This is awkward. Because Nathan tapped out, Kyle gets to resolve his dig.
Yeah. Maybe you don't always do that.
Yeah, it turns out, I mean, there are downsides. We saw this happen a few weeks ago when against Kevin Kingsley playing Storm.
Yeah.
When his painter opponent went Grindstone
That was
U.
amazing.
Yeah, his Grindstone U in response to Infernal Tutor, and he hit the Past in Flames. So obviously it ended up killing him. So we see no creatures.
Yeah.
Not a single creature here. Kyle took a Ponder, and I think he's taking a Brainstorm here as well.
David Byer calling us out in the chat here that we're starting later and later.
Yeah.
Tonight it was kind of out of our control because we only got up to 8 players at around 7:35.
I'd say exactly like 7:32 or so. Yeah. I was actually going to play.
Yeah. Phil was going to play. I was going to try to commentate, quote unquote, by myself.
Solo.
All of you would just be trying to get me to update life totals. That would be the extent of the commentary if that was the case.
Seems ideal, I gotta say. So it looks like Nathan trying to figure out what to do here. It's pretty interesting. This is a weird situation because he wants to leave up blast effects, but yeah.
Commander Mouse talking about
that game specifically.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, so he did draw Welder. Welder is going to be one of the cards that gets him in this game, but he's going to leave himself exposed this turn to any blue spells that Kyle happens to have.
It seems worth it. He really has to go for the Revoker.
Yeah, when you're at 2 life, like first of all you have to beat all their top decks, and you know that Kyle just looked for 7 cards. This is on his end step, so he couldn't have killed him necessarily. I think you just have to assume that Kyle hit.
It does look like he whiffed, right?
He found 2 cantrips, I believe.
Switch. Is that a fetch? Okay.
He has a fetch, a Petal, and I believe Brainstorm and Ponder.
He has a lot of looks.
Yes. We're going to see 3 here.
Leading with Brainstorm.
And he did find Emrakul.
Alright, so that should be the game.
Yep. He's going to put back 2 non-Emrakul cards and activate Sneak Attack and get in there.
I agree.
And
with your analysis.
Bang! Spaghetti monster coming at you.
Nathan knows what's up. Scoops him up. This probably gets a lot better for Nathan post-board, relatively.
I have a question for you.
Yeah.
If you're Nathan, on the play,
yeah,
do you leave in Blood Moon?
To just try to turn 2 it?
Yeah. Even turn 1.
Maybe. It probably depends how many cards you have in the board to actually bring in.
I imagine you have, some number of Ensnaring Bridges.
Which is good.
It looks like he has Thorn of Amethyst, Ensnaring Bridges. He looks like he was bringing in Tormod's Crypt. I'm not a huge fan of Tormod's Crypt. It's only really good against 1 card.
Dig.
Yeah. Although I think he needs it. Never mind.
Okay.
He needs Tormod's Crypt in order to exile the graveyard with Emrakul in it.
Sure.
So that seems completely reasonable.
So how does that function? The interaction with Grindstone and Emrakul?
So what's going to happen is that Grindstone is going to basically never mill. It just creates a loop, from what I understand. Cook the Fourth can sound off in chat whenever they could tell me exactly how this works.
So is the Tormod's Crypt actually going to work?
I would imagine you need to draw multiples of them, right?
Yeah. Do you need to draw 4?
Yeah. Do you need like 1 for each one? Yeah. Cook, tell me how it works, because I don't know how it works. From what I understand, let's look up Grindstone exactly.
Do you mill out the deck and then Emrakul triggers?
Emrakul triggers when it goes to the graveyard. It's not a replacement effect; it's a trigger.
Okay. Okay, so all of them are going on the stack, and the Grindstone's going to continue to resolve.
Oh, so yeah, Grindstone will mill the whole deck.
So that'll finish. All 4.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, and then it resolves after the mill. I see.
All right.
Yeah, so the mill goes in the stack. It'll keep going through because Painter Servant's in play.
Right.
Until there's no deck left. Then when there are no more cards left, no more cards to put on into the graveyard, then the Grindstone trigger will resolve, and there's a bunch of Emrakul triggers on top, so you can crypt with all those on the stack.
All right, so crypt actually does work.
Yeah. Yeah, triggers can't go on the stack in between the resolutions of the ability. That's a perfect way to describe it.
Sweet. You guys can tell that neither of us have ever played Grindstone decks.
Nope. I definitely watched at a Star City Open a Painter player playing against Elves, an Elves player who had boarded in his Progenitus, and they had so that's a replacement effect, and that's incredibly obnoxious.
Yeah.
So every time you mill the Progenitus, you have to shuffle it back in.
Wow.
So they were just sitting there manually milling his deck, and every time they hit Progenitus, just keep shuffling it back in. So the way it goes is that the Grindstone will go until Progenitus is the only card in their library.
Okay, that sounds great.
Yeah, I mean, and then the Painter Servant player just goes past the turn.
Yeah.
Elves player draws their Progenitus, as they are supposed to do.
Right.
And then the Painter Servant player just passes back again, and they deck themselves.
Well, that sounds like a good time.
Doesn't it?
Yeah.
It's a grand old time for both players. Yeah. But yeah, you do get to see the entire deck. Like, Nathan was basically all in, I think, on trying to Revoker.
Cook the Fourth advises shortcutting the Progenitus loop. I would advise against that, personally.
What do you
Sounds
mean?
Good.
You just want to make them go through
just
it?
do it all. Sort of same thing with Four Horsemen.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. You should just go through the iterations just to make sure.
Like, you just need your opponent to understand that this is their fault.
Yeah.
Whenever my opponent... It's like on Magic Online when they make you make all your Deceiver Exarchs.
Uh-huh. You chose to do this.
Yes, it was your mistake. Is anyone running Four Horsemen? Absolutely not, Walrus Boy.
I don't think anyone's ever played that here.
Nope, I've never seen it. I think that was a deck that, like, tried to capitalize on a time where people weren't really as prepared for combo, but, like, the way sideboard cards are these days, like, you can... Any blue deck can compete with any combo deck.
Mm-hmm. The ruling on Four Horsemen made me really sad.
Yeah, it's
the
fact
deck
that
is cool.
It's not quote-unquote legal.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, so Nathan on the play here. Let's see what he's working with. We see a couple Arid Mesas, an Ensnaring Bridge, a Painter's Servant. Looks like his hand's solid, if a little slow.
Mm-hmm.
He's got the combo.
He has top. He also has Ensnaring Bridge.
Oh, he has top?
Yeah.
Well, top seems great.
Yeah, I mean, his curve is solid. He doesn't have a Red Blast.
Yeah, he doesn't have anything interactive. But he has his whole combo.
He can also beat a quick show and tell by putting in Ensnaring Bridge.
That's true, yeah. He's prepared against show and tell. But I would assume that Kyle sort of goes away from show and tell post-board and tries to focus more on, like, sneak attack and through the breach.
Sure. So bringing in through the breach from the sideboard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
From what I could tell with that deck, you bring in through the breach a lot.
You do.
Against, like, almost everything.
Against decks that are interacting usually with permanence, it seems like.
Yeah.
It's a good way to beat Death and Taxes.
Certainly, yeah.
Among others.
It's just another angle of attack for the deck.
It's also, I mean, obviously here, you don't actually want a lot of high-impact blue cards, because against the deck with, like, 7 to 8 Red Blast effects.
Can't be great, yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll see what Kyle's mulligan looks like here. We see a Polluted Delta. Looks like all lands and a Lotus Petal. Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I think Kyle maybe just not wanting to go to 5 here against the other combo deck. Kyle drawing Emrakul for turn. I mean, that's part of the puzzle here.
WUBRGxyz asked if they can post a hilarious video. I don't know.
What are your thoughts?
Well, is it magic related? Is it hilarious?
How can I post a hilarious video? Well, only if it's hilarious. The bomb-ass playmats, if they're not available on the website, they're certainly available in store. I'm personally unsure if they're available.
I haven't noticed them if they're on the website. I would hope they are. Also, if you ever go to a GP in North America, there's a very high likelihood that Card Market will be attending, buying cards, selling playmats, selling sleeves, etc.
Yeah. Kyle's hand actually looks not unreasonable. He has a couple lands and a petal and a sneak attack, and him drawing Emrakul for turn gives him quite a bit of things to do.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, perfect start though for Nathan. Turn 2 Revoker. This has got to be naming sneak attack.
Yeah.
I can't imagine what else it would.
As someone who's played Revoker a lot against show and tell decks,
Mm-hmm.
you usually name sneak attack first.
Then Grizzlebrand?
Yes.
I see. So we see Kyle just going to play a Misty Rainforest and pass here. I wonder what Nathan's going to start with this turn. He has quite a few high-impact cards. I would imagine that the combo is like less important, considering that as we described, it needs Tormod's Crypt to actually get through.
Okay.
And maybe he's just like working on getting in with mediocre beats.
Right. Yeah, I mean, not having the graveyard hate, he can't combo yet.
Yeah.
Right?
He does have, his hand is pretty good though. He has a couple grindstones and he has an ensnaring bridge.
I wonder if he's ever going to try to actually cast the bridge or just hold it for show and tell.
I would imagine he's going to cast it. I think I would rather get it into play. Like, as I said, I don't want to rely on Kyle having to show and tell it in.
Right.
Kyle did draw show and tell this turn though. So we'll see if he goes for it. He certainly has the mana. He's three lands in his hand right now.
Mm-hmm.
A couple fetch lands and Ancient Tomb. Just a Volk, a fetch land, and an Ancient Tomb, as well as the Petal. He could theoretically. I was gonna say he could put in Sneak Attack, but that's shut off from the Revoker.
Sure. As long as Nathan doesn't have a Red Blast in hand, I think I would be more inclined to not cast the bridge, because like, the likelihood of it resolving is pretty low.
I guess so.
It's relatively low.
Yeah. All right, so we're gonna see 2 fetches here from Kyle.
Seems like he might be going for show and tell.
I'd imagine so. I think right now Kyle's in that moment where he's trying to consider if he should play around Blood Moon.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's gonna get 1 island.
Yeah, sure, why not?
Might as well, right?
Apparently, the YouTube video was a goat knocking out a cow.
I'm not against it.
Yeah,
I'll allow it.
Walrus Boy is in favor. As long as the violence is not so gratuitous. Not like Daredevil levels of animal on animal violence.
Pretty violent.
Yeah. Phil and I were talking about that show earlier. It's quite good.
It's great. Check it out.
If you guys have Netflix, it's really good.
I've like watched 3 episodes now, and I'm pretty pleased.
Yeah.
All right, we'll see what Kyle decides to go for here. I kind of want to confirm that this Revoker's on Sneak Attack, but it's just gotta be.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and Kyle's gonna go for show and tell here.
This is working out beautifully for Nathan.
Yeah, this is basically perfect. And
I love this part.
Kyle gonna decide on Spaghetti Monster or land.
CT Mayor, thank you for the follow.
No. He has a Grizzlebrand as well.
Okay. Also, want to say hello to Emperor in the chat, saying, hey, WUBRG.
What's up?
What is up?
Thanks for tuning in, guys. Kyle has, looks like he has both Grizzlebrand and Emrakul to choose between. And Nathan doesn't care because he's putting an Ensnaring Bridge.
Yeah.
On the plus side, this Grizzlebrand does provide an excellent roadblock for Nathan's attacks.
It does.
And now Nathan's pressured to sort of find some way to interact here. I think he's just looking for a Tormod's Crypt at this point.
Probably.
If he finds the Crypt, then he does just get to kill Kyle.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's 1 mana short of doing it.
He has, what, Grindstone in hand?
Actually, no, he's not 1 mana.
He's not 1 mana, yeah. No, he can just do it.
Yeah, if he top, I think he's gonna. We're gonna see an upkeep top though.
Sure.
Looking for that exact card.
Mm-hmm.
Boston misses me. Oh, that's very sweet. Thank you. I also miss Boston. Boston's great.
I once upon a time lived in Boston as well, but I did not play Magic then, so no one who would be in this chat gives a crap.
I'm sure they miss you, though.
Apparently, Phil and I lived in the same place for multiple years. Mm-hmm. We did not know each other.
3 whole years.
I was on hiatus from Magic.
Yep. Like an idiot.
Yeah. Sold all my cards, including all of my dual lands.
Smart guy.
That was great.
Nathan drawing Red Blast right on time.
Yeah.
That's when they were supposed to draw that, right?
He also did not top in the upkeep.
He did. Oh no, he topped end step.
Oh, okay. So he fetched and topped.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we'll probably see another end step top here, since Kyle has no way to attack through this Ensnaring Bridge. He's basically all in on drawing. Oh, Wipe Away, which he drew this turn.
Why not? There's some discussion in the chat right now of the best competitive, quote-unquote, budget deck for Legacy. Mm-hmm. Someone said Infect. I think I actually agree with that. Like, it's actually one of the cheaper decks.
The cheaper deck
needs, it really is.
4 Tropical Islands and Noble Hierarchs?
Tropical is... I think it's the cheapest blue duel. It needs Noble Hierarch, which is probably about to get reprinted in Modern Masters.
Theoretically, yeah.
And you need Force of Will. Those are the big ones.
Yep.
Everything else is relatively cheap, frankly.
We'll see what Kyle decides to start with here. Looks like a Brainstorm. I think this is bait for I was gonna say bait for the Pyroblast, but it looks like Nathan says that's all right. The fact that Kyle drew Wipe Away is pretty huge here.
Yeah.
What do you wipe away?
That's the thing. He probably only has one Wipe Away in the deck. He might not be able to afford doing it this turn. He might have to get another fatty into play. So like when he Wipe Aways, it's lethal. It's not just 7 damage or whatever.
Yeah, that's definitely possible. Like, but he can. I mean, he can maybe maneuver. I saw him draw Omniscience. If he's able to get through a Show and Tell or something here, then he can put this Omniscience into play and just start going crazy. Yeah, like David, I'm saying no tier 1 legacy deck is cheap. Like the closest, I think the best argument you can make is our Dredge and Burn.
Yeah, we're saying relative, and also Infect is probably tier 1. Burn is probably tier 3, or like 2.5.
Yeah, it's tier 2. I think it's a solid tier 2 deck.
Sure. It's not going to win an SCG Open.
Probably not.
Probably never.
Yeah. Legacy Storm has like 4 blue dual lands in it, so it's always going to be cheap. Besides that, it has LEDs, and that's it.
Yeah. Fetches, commons.
Yeah, fetches aren't hugely problematic, especially with them getting reprinted. Like you can play just Flooded Strand, and you can play like Blue Delta and Flooded Strand, which are like $10 cards right now or so. I
mean, like, so you can play Burn in Modern a lot cheaper, or like it's way more competitive in Modern than it is in Legacy.
Yeah, it's certainly tier 1 in Modern.
Right.
It's like old hook hands here.
Yeah.
Looks like we have.
It's all about perspective and being like, we're saying cheap is relative. Like, Infect compared to Shardless Bug is a joke.
Yes.
It's like 4,000 versus like 1,500 or something.
So it looks like Nathan took the time to Pyroblast the Grizzlebrand, and Kyle's just gonna Show and Tell in Omniscience and then hardcast Emrakul. We're gonna see what else he casts here. He's gonna cast a bunch of permanents, I'd imagine.
Yeah.
Here's a Sneak Attack. Here's a bunch of cards that he's gonna discard. Cast another Omniscience. Sure, why not? What's better than one Omniscience?
Yeah. This looks like a bad sequence for Nathan.
It doesn't seem great, especially given that Kyle gets to untap, Wipe Away, Ensnaring Bridge, and then kill Nathan.
Apparently I'm incorrect, and Patrick Sullivan did win a Legacy Open with Burn.
A while ago.
Yeah.
It wasn't recent. But it definitely did happen.
Okay.
Some other people have also won with it.
Has Grizzlebrand been printed since then? Or was it already out?
It was already out.
Okay.
And there we see the Wipe Away and the attack. Nathan's going to Redstone himself and then pack it in.
All right.
So pretty quick 2-0 win for Kyle there.
Definitely not the matchup that Painter wants to play against.
No, I mean, Painter sort of preys on decks that have like greedy mana bases and like not a ton of ways to interact, and they're pretty redundant. Like it's pretty excellent against Delver.
Yeah.
I think certainly it can be. It's pretty good against Miracles as well.
Sure.
But against a deck that has a pretty rock solid 2-color mana base, basically another Blood Moon deck, then your sort of main angle of attack of just like shutting off most of their resources is gone.
Yeah.
And that's not ideal.
Definitely not. Also, your win condition not being functional in game 1.
Yeah, it's not great.
Like he's probably like 5% to win game 1.
Yeah, it's low. I mean, he needs to like get a Revoker in play and then keep it in play
and just beat down.
Yeah, basically, and
without many disruptive elements, really.
And he has to do that in the face of just like any Show and Tells happening that just put in an Emrakul, like all those bridges are sideboard cards. So it's extremely difficult, I think, for the Painter deck. Like there are just a lot of really annoying disruptive elements. I'll go out there and see if we have another match.
Okay.
I kind of want to... Hold on, I want to see something real quick. I want to see if I can fix this right quick. I want to fix this stupid name problem. Right player name. Edits.
WUBRGxyz. I think that's a troll saying Legacy Goblins is one of the most expensive decks in the format. It's also kind of generous to call it a deck in the format at this point, frankly. I really, really like Goblins, but Stoneforge Mystic really did a number on that deck.
A pretty rude number, I might add.
Specifically Batterskull, I guess.
Batterskull, I mean, honestly, like a really big chunk of the cards that are played in like blue-white-red decks are just super problematic for goblins in general.
The other thing is like it sort of occupied a portion of the metagame as like an Aether Vial deck. Like at the time when goblins was a very good deck, it was that and Merfolk, and Death and Taxes has just sort of replaced both of those decks as the best way to play Aether Vial.
The best like Aether Vial Richard Port deck, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just a much better resource denial deck because you get to play Stoneforge Mystic in your deck.
Yep. Thalia is super powerful. Mother of Runes.
Yeah, and I mean like even like, you know, I think the one thing that like Goblins has going for it is that it still just like crushes miracles.
Sure.
Like you just absolutely destroy them.
Ringleader is very good against a pure control deck.
God, Ringleader and Cavern of Souls.
Yeah.
I remember my friend wanted to. My friend had a Goblins deck, and he's like, "Look, I want to just play some games. I want to see just how bad it is playing Miracles." And I'm like, "Sure, let's have a good time." And then he just didn't. Like after 2 games, he's like, "This is not fun. I don't enjoy this at all. This is the worst feeling." I don't believe there's any Death and Taxes tonight, Walrus Boy, unfortunately.
Yeah, I did not bring my cards. Did not lend out my deck.
Foolish.
Sorry about that. I think
rookie mistake.
Yeah, Nathan has also been playing Death and Taxes recently, but he's playing Painter tonight.
Yeah. There's no Dredge here tonight, I believe. I believe we have. So we have we have 8 players. So we have whatever Dan is playing, which is probably a Jeskai control deck.
He's been playing Jeskai Stoneblade recently.
Yeah. We have Peter who's playing. Is it a Deathblade?
I presume.
I believe it's an Underground Sea Deathrite Shaman deck.
Okay.
Let's see what else. There might be a blue-white. There's probably a blue-white control deck. Oh, I forgot his name, but he had Myth Realized in his deck last time.
That's cool.
Yeah, it was sweet. I don't think we have any mud tonight.
Only 8 players tonight, guys.
Yeah.
That's why we had a slightly late start.
Mm-hmm.
A bunch of our regulars are either like out of town, like Kyle Norman is going to his brother's wedding. Tony Zinni is still coming back from the Pro Tour, I think.
I think he took some time to like travel afterwards.
Yeah.
So I might still be out in Europe.
If I got
a good
free
time.
flight to Europe and I went with my girlfriend, like we'd probably stay for 2 weeks or something. Like
at least a little bit.
Yeah.
Enjoy your time.
Make it worth your time. Yeah. Because he crapped out the Pro Tour.
hey, he made day 2.
Sorry,
Respect.
I cannot.
How many Pro Tours have you played on?
Thank you
Mr.
for
Shaver?
rubbing it in.
All right, I'm gonna go. I'll go run out there and see if we have any other matches still going on.
Okay. All right. Walrus asks if there's any Uba mask out there. I doubt it. I really doubt it. Also, I want to remind you guys. So this is our giveaway tonight. It's an Italian copy of Sylvan Library, and it's courtesy of our sponsors and our hosts for the night, MTG Card Market. You can see at the top of your screen there. They go to GPs. They're based out of Chicago. You can check them out at big tournaments. Their booths, one booth, but they'll be buying and selling cards always. Their website's awesome. Also, if you're in the Chicago area, they're having a modern pre-TQ this Sunday, if you're interested. And I will be playing in that. And I'm going to play Merfolk, and I'm going to do terribly, but I'm going to have a good time, because it's a great deck. Well, it's a fun deck, I should say. Also, if anyone is new to our stream, Gibbous and Walrus Boy are giving you spoilers of how to enter our raffle later. It's not waffle, it is raffle. Walrus has it correct. Gibbous is being a jokester. But yeah, so we're probably going to do our raffle after round 2. We have 3 rounds tonight. We're ending round 1 as we speak. So in about an hour, I would say, we're going to do the giveaway. And one thing that you should know is to enter the raffle and be eligible to win the Sylvan Library, you have to be following the stream. So that is our one stipulation. Other than that, I think Mark, our stream captain or stream creator, is willing to mail basically wherever. So you can be living on Pluto, and Mark will try to get this card to you. What else is going on in chat? Curious. So what did you guys think of the Pro Tour? It's pretty interesting Pro Tour. Maybe not the most dynamic top 8, but what can you do? Also, if anyone has any insight as to Modern, I would be most appreciative, specifically to Blue-White Merfolk, because that's what I'll be playing. Phil is playing some sort of Blue-White-Red Geist deck, I think.
Yeah.
We both like blue cards.
Oh, I don't play. I only play blue decks in Modern.
Okay.
You can't. It's like really hard to play a non-blue, non-green deck in Modern.
Non-blue, non-green. Okay, yeah.
Name a deck that's not burn, that's not blue and not green. And burn is, by the way, also green.
I guess Affinity is basically a red deck.
Yeah, Affinity's its own category.
Yeah, it plays Thoughtcast maybe.
Sure, it's like a 5-color deck. You got like whatever, like Galvblast and Thoughtseize and Spell Pierce and Wear Tear. You play actual 5 colors. But I don't know.
Let's see.
People
are asking if Goblin Guide's still $20. It is.
There is a mud deck, by the way.
In the field? Sure, why not? No,
it looks like we couldn't get anyone on. There was a couple of people that were still playing. So Jameson is playing. I have an update for decks that we have, though.
Okay.
We have Jameson is playing Death and Taxes.
Oh.
Got some Japanese foil Stoneforge Mystics out there.
What a cool guy.
Yeah, they're awesome.
Jameson is the one of the founders of MTG Card Market.
Yep.
Very nice cards. Also is the person who drew... He told me he drew the playmat.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love that. But then we got... his opponent was Peter. Peter was playing Esper Stoneblade.
I think that favors Esper.
Yeah.
It's close, though.
We'll see. And then Dan was playing Blue, White, Red, like the same Stoneblade deck we saw him play last week.
Okay.
He was playing against Mud. And then Dominic was playing against someone else. They had just finished game 1.
Jeez. Dominic plays Rug, right?
I think that Rug deck he was borrowing. I think he usually... I mean, he usually plays Nick Fit.
Yeah, okay.
So... Soul Sisters, I would actually say I have more experience with Soul Sisters than almost anyone. Which is like not something I'm proud to say. I've cashed 2 different Grand Prix. I've top 32 2 Grand Prix with Soul Sisters.
Have you ever tried casting Mother of Runes in Legacy?
No.
Maybe you'd like it.
Nope.
Maybe you are just in denial.
Mother of Runes does too much. It does too much. I'd rather just gain life.
Too much.
You don't get to play Baneslayer Angel in that deck. Soul Sisters has 4 Baneslayer Angels that you get to tutor for.
Yeah.
That deck has more card advantage than every blue deck in Modern.
I mean, Batterskull
way more.
Is basically Baneslayer Angel.
Yeah. But it's pretty insane that Soul Sisters has like between Squadron Hawk and Ranger of Eos, you have like and Windburst Kites, if you decide to play it, you have way more card advantage than almost any deck.
Yeah.
The downside is you're just like a creature deck that can't ever beat combo.
Right.
You have to like dedicate your entire sideboard to combo decks, and you can still just sometimes lose to like random cards like someone will play like a Curse of Death's Hold.
Yeah.
And you're like, well, I hope I'm above 20. I hope I'm above 30 life. But
oof.
No. As far as Norn Soul Sisters go, I know what wins in the mirror. That deck is super annoying and will just like straight up crush a lot of fair decks.
Norn.
The Norn Soul Sisters deck.
Yeah.
Sorry. So, someone asked what Soul Sisters deck runs Baneslayer Angel. All of them do. Here's the Baneslayer. I'll pull up Baneslayer Angel.
It's only right 1 mana.
It's really broken. Would you play 1 mana Baneslayer Angel? Because this is 1 mana Baneslayer Angel.
Well, that is the payoff for playing the deck, so I would play 4.
Yeah. Oh my god. This card's not real.
It's pretty unfair in casual formats as well.
From what I hear.
Where you start with more than 30 life.
But
so.
Yeah, casting Ranger of Eos and tutoring up Martyr of Sands and Sur Ascendant.
Seems okay.
Fantastic.
But you could also tutor up Renorn the Wary.
You could do that. No, Norn the Wary is, that's more of a combo deck than it is like a mid-range deck. It's like the Soul Sisters it's just a pure mid-range deck. Mm-hmm. It's like often ends up as in the sort of it shifts the game a lot of times versus many decks it's aggressive versus many decks it's very controlling. Like against like Burn, you're the control deck. Yeah. You just sit there and you just resolve a Martyr of Sands, and then they can't win anymore.
Yeah.
No, you don't wait. That's the thing.
Well, before they have Skullcrack.
Yep. You go turn 2, Martyr, crack it, gain 15, go.
So basically, Mind Twist?
It's Mind Twist. It's actual Mind Twist. Yeah, here's your Mind Twist against Burn, ladies and gentlemen. This card has won me some money. I love it.
I'm really sad that I missed this part of Phil's life.
It was a good time.
Yeah.
But now I just play blue decks. It's great. I played blue first. My first love in Modern, Remand. Nothing like a Remand.
Yeah.
It's just
and
great.
you basically play blue legacy decks. Like Elves is a blue deck. It has a lot of card draw, a lot of tutoring.
Oh yeah, that's great.
Like,
card advantage is a thing I really appreciate.
A lot of busted mana. You have 4 Tolarian Academies.
It's powerful stuff. You do a lot of sweet things. But yeah,
this guy.
Just cutting out 40% of the cards in the pool straight up. Furthermore, mature the decks are 2 or 3 colors, which further diminishes your chances of having a competitive black, white, and red deck. What I mean by that is that I think the dominant that Modern is a format that's driven by like the most powerful cards. Like you build your decks around a lot of very powerful singular cards, and it just so happens that the two of the most powerful cards in the format are Snapcaster Mage and Tarmogoyf.
Yeah.
And the cards that go in those decks tend to illustrate that as well. Like Tarmogoyf tends to be paired with cards like Liliana the Veil, so you have like all these black-green decks in different shells, and then Snapcaster Mage fits into just like almost any sort of blue deck.
You're also talking about like basically non-linear decks, like not really like the combo decks. Yeah,
and like the combo decks can be very very different, or they can just also include stuff like Snapcaster Mage.
Right. Yeah, I mean when you say Snapcaster, like you can make the counter argument that Snapcaster goes in Twin, which is a combo deck. Yeah, Twin's actually not a combo deck. No. That is a complete misnomer. It's just a control deck.
Twin is as much of a combo deck as Elves is.
It's less of a combo deck.
Even less? Yes. But I'm saying it's an incredibly powerful control or mid-range deck.
Yes.
That happens to have a combo finish. Like you just have 4 copies of Splinter Twin in your deck that are just instant wins if your opponent messes up.
It's like slightly different because most of your games with Elves are gonna end with a Craterhoof Behemoth.
That you win.
That you win. The games you win.
Sure. I don't know. I prefer the games that don't involve Craterhoof Behemoth. The grind. Oh
just
yeah.
5 Deathrite Shaman activations in the last 2 turns.
That's my jam.
Yeah.
Get all up in that.
I would say with Twin, of the games you win, you're probably winning about 30% with the combo. Yeah. Maybe that.
It's low.
It's very low.
And
that's like pre-board. Yeah. Post-board is way lower.
Yeah, like post-board you just like, unless you're playing against I don't know Amulet even, and even then you don't even need to. You just cast Blood
Amulet
Moon.
And Tron.
Blood Moon is the real combo in that matchup. and those are decks that tend to board. Well, like Tron in particular boards a million cards for you because they can't win. So you just like don't even want to combo them.
Outside of those control decks, because like Abzan is kind of a control deck for the format.
Sure.
Relatively.
I mean, it's a control deck that can turn the corner because it has Tarmogoyf and Siege Rhino in it.
There's no like true classic control deck that's like tier 1 really.
Not that since Siege Rhino got printed, people have Jeskai control has basically disappeared because the cards in Abzan are so hard to interact with, like in a profitable way. It's like, all right, they cast Lingering Souls, you cast Electrolyze. You're like, okay, I'm kind of ahead, but they still get to flash it back. So like you're still
you have to have a remand for the second half.
Yeah,
too.
You have to. It's really hard to keep up with what they're doing. Not to mention with how hard it is just to answer what Liliana the Veil is presenting you. Yeah. And this is like accepting stuff like Thoughtseize and Liliana the Veil, and then to go along with that, they still have 2 mana 4/5. So yeah, having the closest thing to a control deck in Modern is probably Twin. Yeah. But again, it functions
it's also
differently.
A combo deck. Yeah, it can be a combo. Like
exactly.
It's hard to be a true control deck. The ones that are trying to play a more fair game, like Twin or Abzan, most of the time I say. Yeah. Those are mostly going to be built around those super powerful value cards, like Snapcaster, like Tarmogoyf.
Yeah, you just need cards that are powerful in every aspect of the game. You need like versatile cards, and that's like where Abrupt Decay comes in, and Remand, and Cryptic Command, and
Serum Visions, Lightning Bolt.
Yeah.
Outside of those, though, you kind of have a format full of these like very linear decks, like Burn, Affinity, Amulet, Infect, like
Storm.
Yeah, they're mostly combo decks, really. Yeah.
Scapeshift, I would say, is definitely a control deck. It is. It's very. It's even more controlling than a deck like Twin. It's a pure control deck in that sense. The problem. The problem with that deck is it's an 8-card combo.
Yeah.
You need 7 lands and a Scape Shift.
Combo.
Yeah, calling it a 1-card combo is clearly you haven't played the deck.
Yeah. You don't always have the lands.
Yeah, like that deck specifically struggles against Liliana the Veil. I played a lot of Scape Shift, and it's a deck that's actually near and dear to my heart. It's just like super fun to play. Like it's the only deck that's very comfortable playing 4 Cryptic Commands.
Sure.
And that I love. I love playing Cryptic Command, but
it's okay.
But it's just it's tough to play that deck in a field full of Thoughtseizes and Lilianas.
Yeah, as bad as Twin is against Abzan, Scape Shift's worst.
Yeah, and I think Twin is actually completely reasonable against Abzan post board.
It's okay.
I think it's like,
fine.
Paul Cheon said he even feels favored.
It's close.
Right?
Yeah.
But like, just imagine resolving a Karanos against.
I know.
That.
I get it. I get it. You can still lose though.
The card that was told to me that is like the most important way to win post board is Vendilion Click. It's just attacking with Vendilion Click
against the Lingering Souls deck.
Sure. Click it away. Remand it.
Okay. This is all very.
It's your it's your fastest clock.
I understand. I mean, I lost to it the other weekend, but I also like mulliganed a bunch.
Well,
you have to draw well to beat Abzan.
Tighten up.
Yeah, sorry. I'll try to stop drawing no-landers in my win-ins.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
You're right. You should stop drawing.
I should.
Did you lose playing for top 8?
Yeah, I lost to Susan Zell playing for top 8 at States.
And she was playing Abzan?
Yes. I mulled to 5 in game 1, and I mulled, I think, to 6 in game 2. And against the deck with 6 to 7 discard spells, it really sucks to mulligan.
Yeah, it's not great.
Yeah. But one sweet thing I got to do with your favorite card, Cryptic Command, in that tournament, in round 2, I beat a resolved Emrakul hardcast out of Tron.
I love beating that deck.
Because, so on the extra turn, after Emrakul resolved, my opponent attempted to cast a Karn, which I countered with Cryptic Command and tapped the Emrakul.
Oh my goodness.
And then untapped. So I needed 1 turn because I had Serum Visions the turn before. My opponent was at 5.
Okay. I
Serum Visions, draw my card, look at my scry. It's Electrolyze and Lightning Bolt. So I just untapped and flipped the top 2 cards in my deck.
Ooh, getcha.
Yeah, that was a sweet game.
Yeah. We are finishing round 1 currently. I believe we're almost done actually.
Mm-hmm.
We have about a minute left in the round.
Yeah.
But we should have round 2 up hopefully within 5 minutes. Are you playing Monastery Siege in your Merfolk deck?
Yeah, I've seen this card a lot in Merfolk lists online. I don't really understand it. Mm-hmm. It's like a 3-drop that you can't vial, that you can't. It doesn't impact the board.
Yeah, it's a little expensive.
I don't even know which mode they're usually choosing. I presume the draw discard.
Yeah, it seems like I can't imagine you would choose the Kira mode when you could just play Kira.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, I think I would prefer Thassa, frankly, because you can at least vial it, and maybe it would turn on ever. But yeah, I just really don't like that card in the deck.
Yeah, and even Thassa, I think Thassa's like pretty poor.
Yeah,
I don't think you want to be playing.
I don't think
card.
so either. Like I don't. So it seems like you would want it for the grindy matchups, but like.
Really?
I guess Monastery Siege.
I think I would just rather have Sig River Cutthroat.
Sure, yeah. If you want another of that effect, but like, there's already 8 cantrips in the deck.
Yeah,
and a lot of your draws to Merfolk are just like trying to empty your hand.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah. Sometimes there's a limit to how many slots you can put in your deck that are just dedicated to drawing cards.
Yeah.
But Sig, the times I played the deck, Sig did really impress me.
Sig is cool. I like the other Sig.
Yeah, Sig River Guide.
Because I'm playing white.
Yeah, I didn't play white.
Yeah. The fact that it has Island Walk itself is super, super nice because it's just 2/2 unblockable. Yeah. So I would, if you're playing Modern Merfolk, I would definitely suggest playing 4 main deck Spreading Seas. Yeah. I think it's like, frankly, one of the biggest strengths of the deck is that you get to do that. Like turn 1 Aether Vial, turn 2 Spreading Seas is basically like all I want to do.
Man, you're making me really want to play Scape Shift again.
Because it's bad against.
Well, because like, so the one time, anytime I played Merfolk while playing Scape Shift, it's like, I'll just like very easily win game 1, like just through I don't know 4 consecutive Cryptic Commands or something like that.
Okay, whatever.
And then game 2 is just all about Inferno Titan.
That would be hard to beat.
It's pretty good against. It's pretty bad against Master Waves.
It is. And I would probably have to. I mean, I would probably leave in Path to Exile just to respect like Baloth anyway. Maybe.
Why? That doesn't make sense at all.
You have a big. It's a big guy.
It's a big guy. I have islands in my deck. I can't.
All right.
block.
Maybe not. Maybe not.
In any case, so I'll take a look out there. I think we're about done. I'll see if we can get some pairings and sound off in the chat about what exactly you guys want to see. We're gonna try and put, I guess, like a 1-0 deck or something.
Yeah, if Mud won.
If Mud won, I'll put it on.
Yeah, you guys love Mud. You guys are crazy.
Everybody loves Lodestone Golem.
It is. When Mud wins, it's very flashy at times.
We saw some sweet games of Mud last week.
We did. We actually did. And a sweet game involving Mud is actually like super cool in Legacy because it's so different from a lot of the games that we get to watch. Because it'll be more reminiscent of Vintage. Also, Mud used to be like a pretty popular Legacy deck like 3 or 4 years ago, and it's really tailed off as like Legacy becomes more like exposed to high level tournament play because so many people are just reading like the Brad Nelson articles and Todd Anderson, people on SCG, and they just gravitate towards the decks that those players like to play. So you've really seen a tail off of like the non-blue mid-range or tempo-y decks, I would say. Really, most of those decks are being played like by European players. Usually, those decks are more popular over there. And I know I often bring it up, but if you're interested in learning more about Legacy and want to talk about it with other people who like the same decks that you do, MTG The Source is like the best place for it. I am all over the Death and Taxes thread, and it's a great place to learn a lot from some really good players. Yeah, Kevin12, we did just have Painter on round 1. Unfortunately, Nathan the Pilot did lose to Sneak and Show. It seems like a really rough matchup. If you want to watch the match, though, we'll post the video on our YouTube channel, and it'll also be in our Twitch history. So you can go back and watch it there. It's definitely not the matchup that Painter wants to play against, but, for main deck Emrakul's, not weak to Blood Moon, it's not exactly where you want to be. Jared Talon cites a Legacy podcast that I've actually never heard of, Legacy Breakfast. Okay, it sounds cool. The Legacy podcast that I'm familiar with is the Brainstorm Show, which is done by, I think, Philip Braverman and Wilson Hunter are the two people that I'm familiar with. They've both had a good amount of success on the Star City circuit in Legacy. I know those guys are friends actually with Mark McManus, our stream captain, our stream creator, and they went to college together, so we have a relationship with those guys. We like to shout out their podcasts. They shout out our stream, so we have a symbiotic relationship. Gibbous asks if last night's stream is up yet. I doubt it got turned over that quickly. I know Mark has been busy this week creating this new overlay, which we're still working out the kinks of, and various other projects. But Gibbous, I would recommend the Brainstorm podcast, or the Brainstorm Show, I think it's called.
We're talking about Magic podcasts?
Yeah.
Let me tell you.
Yeah. Not specifically a Legacy podcast, but it is very competitively slanted.
It's true. If you guys would like to listen to a podcast I am on, it's called Railbirds.
Phil has other friends aside from just me.
It's true.
You exist outside of this room.
Hard to imagine because I sleep here and live here, so it just is what it is.
You eat dirt off the ground.
But yeah, check out Railbirds. It's just go to SoundCloud. I'm gonna put this in here.
Do it. You're taking time out of your day in this room to be part of our show, the WUBRG show, so you might as well talk about your other projects as well.
And here I'm going to hope that I did this correctly. Yeah, I did.
Yes.
Bam.
Cook the fourth, shouting out Judge Cast. Getting some cast, like, I don't know. You can listen to all of them. You don't only have to pick one.
No. So many options, infinite Magic podcasts.
Yeah, we're just going to throw a lot of links at you.
In any case, I got a match for us.
Cool.
We're going to be watching Jameson.
Sweet. Did he win? He won round 1?
Yes, we're watching two decks. He's playing Alan Nelson, who's playing a Blue-White Stoneblade deck.
Okay.
I believe last time it had Myth Realized in it. We'll see if it still does today.
Sure.
But the deck was sweet.
Yeah.
Like beat down with like a 5/5 Myth Realized.
Yeah, Blue-White control non-miracle even, it's typically a pretty tough matchup for Death and Taxes.
Yeah, I can see it being a little difficult. Ash Shop, I did go to GB Cleveland. I did not do well.
That was limited?
It was. I did not make day 2.
That's a shame.
It is a shame.
Are you going to GP Detroit later this year?
Is that the team GP?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Nice.
Yeah.
I need to get a team.
Yeah, me too, I think.
Yeah.
So we'll figure it out. I don't know if
I'm not good enough. I'm not good enough. I don't know who would be our third either.
It's me, you, and the 3-headed monster.
I would want Glacier.
Oh, yeah.
But he probably has better people to play with than either of us.
I'd assume he's teaming with Ian and someone else.
Probably.
Maybe. I think he teamed with Barrios.
Last time. Those guys are all good.
Yeah, what's up? Like a bunch of guys who played on the Pro Tour a bunch of times.
Whatever. I'm just going to wind up with Mark and Kyle and just be furious at them all day. They don't know how to play limited.
You think you played me round 4 or 3? If you beat me, that makes sense because I lost a lot. I don't know. If you played me, let's see, round 3, I played...
Good luck. I think someone's in there.
Round 3, I played, let's see, in that tournament. Round 3 was my first round, and I beat someone who had who was playing at least 5 rares in their deck.
Okay.
It was very lucky of me to win.
That sounds cool.
Yeah, I top decked. They had to chump block my Krumar Bondkin.
The 5/3.
Yeah, or they had to double block my Krumar Bondkin, which had 3 counters on it from Anafenza.
Ooh.
With Silumgar and Necropolis Fiend. Ooh. So I got to kill Silumgar.
Yeah, that's pretty rare that it dies.
Yes, it was the only time I played against it where it died.
Yeah.
Because I played against it a lot.
That card seems really, really obnoxious and limited.
It's not great to play against.
Yeah.
It's obnoxious, but is it even less obnoxious than Dragonlord Silumgar?
At least you can kill it.
Yeah, I guess. Hopefully.
Hexproof flying dragons.
Yeah,
that's not cool. It's not cool.
That was my round 3. I remember I won because I top decked a wild call after that.
Okay.
And made a 10-10.
Okay.
And that beat his Necropolis Fiend.
Nice. Good job, Phil.
The round after that, I think, was the round that I lost to a judge call. I don't say that often, but I lost a game because of a bad judge call.
What did it involve?
It involved Abzan Beastmaster
and
flipping up a morph in order to draw a card off of it. The original ruling was that if you see a cook, the ruling I was told was that with the Abzan Beastmaster trigger on the stack, if you flip up a morph that has the highest toughness, you nothing will happen.
Okay. So the question was whether or not it checks on resolution, or
it goes on the stack basically.
Okay,
if the trigger goes on the stack, and the answer is it does go on the stack. So I missed a card draw because of it.
Ugh.
It was not great. You had the foil Crux and Silumgar. That was round 5. I definitely lost to Crux Silumgar.
Whatever.
I got 4 for 2 off of Crux, and then I died to a Silumgar in the next game.
Satsu Kawai, we have 8 people tonight, so the perfect amount. Tony Zinni offering to team with me in Detroit.
Oh man,
I don't know if I'm good enough. Tony just is fresh off his Pro Tour Day 2, so I don't know if I'm worthy.
Yeah, Cook. The ruling I got from the head judge, and then later fixed by the head judge. So the first ruling I got was that if I have a morph and my opponent, my morph was a 2/2, my opponent had a 3 toughness creature. If I flipped up my morph and it has 3 toughness, I do not draw a card. And then I got a turn had passed, and they came back and told me that that's actually wrong. That if I flipped it up, I would have drawn a card.
That's a shame.
Yeah, checks on resolution exactly. But yeah, I got it's worded slightly differently than Triumph of Ferocity. Yes, it's worded really, really badly. So I got kind of it didn't work out well for me. In any case, this is what we're giving away.
Yeah, so we're giving away an Italian copy of Sylvan Library tonight.
Yeah.
Gonna raffle that off after round 2, which is about to start. So we should probably head down to the table in a moment.
Let's take a look.
We have Jameson Reeves, one of the owners of MTG Card Market on the right.
The man, the
He's
myth,
playing the
legend.
best second legacy, Death and Taxes.
Ooh. Best deck in Legacy.
Also known as Mono White Control.
I agree.
And he is playing against Blue White. I saw a Delver there, so I'm gonna say Blue White Delver. Maybe with Mithralized.
We'll take a look.
We have Basic Island and Stifle in the deck as well.
I'd imagine it's only a blue-white deck then.
Yeah. I did see a checklist card. I would imagine it is Delver of Secrets.
Yeah. In a blue-white deck, I guess it could be Civilized Scholar.
It could be.
I wouldn't, if I were a betting man,
I would bet against that. Gabby Sparts pointing out our new layout. Yeah, we're trying some new stuff, Gabby. This is round 2, in fact. We were fixing the overlay currently. Figuring out how all these new doodads work. And Anthrax, lovely reminder to start the timer.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, everyone. These players are 1-0.
Alright, so we see a turn 1 Vial getting forced immediately. I like that.
It's the right thing to do.
Get it out. Don't even want to deal with it. Actually, he fetched that for that island, right?
Yeah, and he also blind flipped his Delver, revealing Stifle.
Get him. Just get him.
I think Jameson might be sitting on another copy of Vial, or is that a Revoker?
Might be a little slow, given that Alan has this turn 1 Delver flipped already.
It looks also like Jameson is trying the one of Leonin Arbiter that I recommended.
The one, he definitely, I saw him attacking for lethal with it last game.
Sounds great.
It looks
Ooh,
like
another Delver. So really putting Jameson to the test here. Does he have removal? Because a couple flip Delvers are going to be pretty annoying.
That's a quick clock. Looks like he has multiple copies of Thalia.
I think he might also have Flicker Wisp in hand.
Oh, here's Stoneforge Mystic.
And notably, Alan had to take down his Stifle mana to play the second Delver. He will be able to potentially stifle the activation of Stoneforge down the line.
Yes.
If Jameson has lands, though, he might be able to maneuver at a point where the game lasts long enough for it to not matter.
Yeah. We'll see. We'll see what's going to happen here, because if Alan's able to flip this second Delver, this is just an insanely quick clock.
It's very fast.
It's 3 turns immediately, and Alan's going to be able to use this Wasteland to get rid of at least one of Jameson's mana sources. It's going to take away a lot of his resources.
A really huge reveal here, and it looks like it does flip to Ponder.
Ooh, Ponder too.
2 Delvers flipping on the play is tough to beat. Jameson actually can do it with his hand, though. He needs another white source, and he also kind of needs Alan to not Wasteland him.
Yeah, Wasteland seems like it's going to be kind of a beating here. I think Jameson has a couple Flicker Wisps as well in his hand.
If he can just get to resolving Flicker Wisp, it would be enormous. He can unflip one Delver and trade with another. Alan also sitting on a copy of True Name Nemesis in his hand, and a Ponder, in addition to the Stifle.
Quite a lot of gas going on here. I like him playing the Ponder here. You don't really want to leave up the Stifle this turn.
Yeah, especially with Jameson knowing about it. It looks like he failed to find a land, though, so he might want to shuffle. I think he really wants another blue source.
He did see a Force of Will, though. Force of Will is pretty great here.
It's okay.
Well, I mean, you only need you need 2 turns, right?
I guess you're just Delvering him, right?
Yeah. So I'd probably want to be attacking as much as possible.
Makes sense. So he might keep the Force.
Yeah, the downside here is that he might just have a couple too many dead draws. I think that's why he's shuffling here.
Okay.
Yeah, that turn 1 Lackey, that was definitely a back to basics.
Yeah.
Back to basics. Bad News Barrett's finisher Wasteland. What is going on?
One of the downsides to wasting here for Alan, though, is he really might want to stick to True Name. True Name is excellent against Death and Taxes.
Yeah.
But I think it's important, with how aggressive his draw is, he might just want to ignore how good True Name is, and just go aggressively after Jameson's land.
I wonder if this is just a mono blue deck. Have we seen a white card yet?
I guess we haven't. We heard. Okay, so he is wastelanding. I do like this. Jameson might also not have a third land here.
I'm gonna switch the name right now. Until we see a white card, this is mono blue Delver.
All right, so Swords to Plowshares takes out 1 Delver.
That's huge right there for Jameson, having the clock.
Looks like he doesn't have a second land, though.
It's gonna be tough to stick in there. Oh, and Alan, of course, drawing Spell Pierce right there.
Right. Good. All right, so yeah, the Delver is exiled. Not
Jameson
in the graveyard.
Fixing the game state.
And Alan's here is sitting on 1 land as well.
I think this is generally gonna favor the person with the 3/2 flyer though.
Probably. I mean, if Jameson does not have a lot of time to draw out of this, and Allen's sitting on a Force of Will, right?
I don't believe he has Force of Will.
Okay. Oh, right. He
shuffled.
You're right.
Yeah.
Draws back to basics.
Perfect. Right on time.
Yep.
Back to basics also, like, it's weird. It's a card that I would think is actually not terrible against Death and Taxes, just because Death and Taxes, has quite a few non-basics, but it's still not exciting.
It's risky.
Yeah.
It's a risky plan.
Ooh, we see the rare Mother of Runes attack.
Yeah. Jameson whiffing on land again. Looks like Allen drew an island.
All right, that's a start. I don't think he needs much at this point, though.
He does not. Even
if Jameson draws a Source of Pushers here, Allen has the Spell Pierce at the ready.
Yeah, it's too late.
This is likely going to be lethal next turn. We'll see. We'll see what Jameson can come up with.
Sometimes you get Delvered.
It's a thing.
Looks like this is probably gonna be a concession.
Oh yeah.
Attack for 3.
Double Mother of Runes. Get in there 1/1s.
Yeah.
Gotta love them mediocre beats.
This is this is what can happen with Death and Taxes sometimes. When you're not, you're a legacy deck, you're not playing Brainstorm or Ponder.
Yeah.
Sometimes you get mana screwed.
It's rough. I've had it happen to Elves too. It just feels a little sad when you can't just rearrange top 3 cards of your deck over and over again.
Yeah, it's great.
All right, so first game.
Mana screw happens a lot more often in Standard and even Modern. When there's not a bunch of very low-cost, high-quality library manipulation.
Yeah, go figure. Brainstorm does work.
Yeah.
Although in Standard, I gotta say, the one thing I really enjoyed about the recent design is like specifically Scrylands.
Yeah.
Scrylands mitigate a lot of flood, and I've really enjoyed that. Like, you just end up playing. You have a lot less games that are decided by mana screw because you're able to at least filter a little bit with no cost.
Decks can also maybe play extra lands because. If you're drawing Scrylands, you can bottom excess lands in theory.
Yeah, it seems great, and it is great. Sorry, I just want to say thank you for some followers here. Have we thanked all these new followers yet?
I think I thanked up to CT Mayer.
All right, so Zadie Goober, Niam Kapu, Mating Pig, and Miles224. Thank you to all you for following.
Yeah,
them some ugly islands.
Hey, respect to the draft islands. If you're gonna play ugly basics, go all out. Play as the ugliest ones you can find.
Whitewater 6th edition.
Oh man, I love 6th edition ones are beautiful. They have a lot of they actually. I'm gonna talk about basic lands for a second here. A lot of the 6th edition lands have Mirage art, and Mirage art is amazing. And Ashop, thank you for following. And also, nice to talk to you again after apparently us playing in the Grand Prix and you smashing me.
Sounds good.
Apparently, I played against him in the Grand Prix in Cleveland. I did not win.
And to remind you,
oh yeah,
you lost.
I got Cruxifated real badly.
Sounds good.
Let's see. I'm not sure what mono blue decks are very interesting in Legacy. Is that a control magic or a counter spell? I really hope that was a control magic.
That would be that would not be very good against Death and Taxes.
Why not?
Flicker Wisp,
that one card.
Also, I mean, it's a 4-mana sorcery that's not even Jace.
Yeah, it's a 4-mana spell.
Yeah.
Ugh.
So Rishon Import seems good against that.
Yeah.
Also Thalia.
Mother Rune seems good against that.
All right, I get it, guys. Control Magic is not a great legacy card, and in particular, not great against this deck. But can't you just give this to me?
I understand. So I think some of the cards that Jameson might be considering sideboarding here include Council's Judgment. It's nice to just have a little bit of extra spot removal. Like, a long game probably favors Jameson, and not dying to quick flipped insects seems like a good idea after that first game that we just saw.
Yeah, having more removal can never really be a bad thing against these decks because his deck is like, I mean, even though he has the control deck in this matchup, his deck is just more threat dense.
Right. And
he has more raw card advantage.
Totally.
Like he doesn't have like filtering in the same way that the Delver deck will have, but he has, Stoneforge Mystic, he has Flicker Wisp, which generates card advantage most of the time. No.
He has a lot of very high impact draws.
Yeah.
Does
Another
run back to basics.
He does have back to basics.
Okay. That's like the main attraction of Mono Blue.
Oh yeah.
It's pretty big. It's pretty bad against the Aether Vial deck in general. We did see Allen Force of Will turn 1 Vial here, and that was basically the game. Like if Jameson had gotten the Vial, I don't think Jameson loses that game at all.
Alright, so I see Alan's hand, and it's very mana light, but it has a Delver and it has a Force of Will.
Okay.
Days.
And a Daze. Not great on the draw, and ooh,
Right.
let's see if he has. Yeah, he
does have the
Force.
force. He did it last game.
I think you got to do it.
Yeah. Pitching Stifle.
I like that. Stifle's going to be a lot worse when you're tapping out for the Delver on turn 1.
One thing for anyone who's very familiar against playing against Death and Taxes, most Death and Taxes pilots, myself included, you will keep a lot of risky hands that have Aether Vial because it's so important to the deck to have it on turn 1.
Yeah, I mean, it's just an absurd mana advantage.
Yeah. I keep a lot of one-landers that involve Aether Vial.
Yeah.
So if it does get forced, things can go very poorly. And this is a turn 1 Delver out of Allen.
We'll see if this Delver is going to be able to go to work the same way it did last game. And we'll see if Jameson has a second land here. It looks like he does, and it's a basic, which is pretty important.
This is another Vial? Nope.
Ooh, yeah, he's
Path to Exile.
I'm assuming that's a sideboard copy.
Yeah, it's never main deck. Also, second Aether Vial here.
And that's going to get dazed.
Yeah.
Ooh.
I don't know if I love the sequencing there.
Yeah, I mean, which one of these cards do you think is more important, though? I think
Vial.
You think Vial's more important than the Path there?
I mean, it depends on your hand. Like, if Jameson has lands, it's somewhat less important. But, I don't know. Vial's just so important.
Yeah. I think I would, if anything, I would just be inclined to wait.
Okay.
But like, I don't know. I don't hate it because I don't think, like, Daze is not going to be great, but like, how good is Vial, like, at this point in the game? Like,
amazing. It's always amazing.
It's always amazing.
It's turn 2.
Man draws Vial on turn 4, says it's amazing.
Yep.
Ooh, Mangara of Corondor.
That's good against Delver.
It's good against everything, right?
It actually is. Well, not everything. There are a few things it's bad against, but not much.
I mean, this card's pretty sweet, honestly. I know you have, like, I would say a soft spot. Maybe your entire self is soft for Mangara.
I didn't play it for a really long time.
But like once you got into playing Mangara, you were like, this card's just great.
This card's
right?
the truth. Yeah.
We'll see if Jameson has the Caracas to go along with it here.
You don't even need it.
It looks like Alan failed to flip his Delver here. I think he just drew Island for turn.
Sure.
Jameson just got double port.
Sitting on a Flicker Wisp. Is that Swords to Plowshares? It looks like he's attacking.
He's attacking? Wow.
I don't know about attacking, but
the beats. Get in there. I think I would be interested in Flicker Wisping Mangara here.
Looks like he's double porting.
That's not the worst.
It's not.
I think I would consider.
One thing is,
ooh, we see a Snapcaster Mage in response, but he doesn't really have any targets.
Yeah, it looks like he's just putting a 2/1 into play, and he's flipping his Delver.
Ooh, revealing Daze never feels good.
Yeah.
But at least it's a spell to flip this Delver.
Right.
The downside of playing a lot of cards like Daze, your opponent just will sometimes have 4 lands in play.
Mm-hmm.
This Snapcaster cannot attack.
Yes, that was played this turn, so it's attack for 3. So now on Jameson's turn, he's probably going to get to maybe eat the Delver with the Mangara. Also, he could Flicker Wisp out the Delver and just trade. Looks like he drew Mirran Crusader for the turn.
Pretty sweet draw. I mean,
it is.
And he's got the 5th land as well. Yeah, it looks like his hand has Flicker Wisp and...
Maybe it wasn't Mirran Crusader. Maybe I'm going crazy here.
No, it is.
Alright, so he is exiling the Delver Secrets.
And I think he's just going to jam Mirran Crusader.
Did not get it stifled, fortunately. That is one thing that can happen with Mangara.
Oh, although it doesn't matter.
Yeah, you keep it.
Yeah.
It basically just fogs it for a turn.
So this is why I would have been interested in just going Flicker Wisp, target Mangara, respond by exiling the Delver. Because, like, worst case scenario, he just, like, stifles that trigger and you exile your Mangara and get it back. But this way you have a 3/1 in play that could possibly trade with the Delver.
Yeah, I mean, you don't actually get to, like, rebuy when you're just casting the Flicker Wisp.
Why not?
So you cast the Flicker Wisp.
Oh my god, I'm stupid.
Yeah, it doesn't stack the right way.
I'm wrong.
Yeah, you need the Flicker Wisp.
You need the trigger to be on stack. Yeah,
you need it to be instant speed.
I'm imagining an Aether Vial in play.
Yes.
Clearly. Just like you. Hey, look, the Aether Vial.
He draws the 3rd Vial.
I imagine this one's going to resolve. No.
This is fantastic for Jameson.
Yeah.
So this is one of the things. At this point in the game where Jameson has so few cards in hand and a bunch of lands, you don't have to bother forcing. I mean,
I think this was an aggressive force of will by. I think this was aggressive to just detrimental for Alan.
It can. So the thing, it gets awkward because anything like Stoneforge or other 3-drops that Jameson draws are going to be uncounterable because of the vial later.
Mm-hmm.
So like it can be awkward the way that it works out. Yeah. But in this scenario, it's hard to say. I mean, Jameson's just gonna be able to cast whatever he draws now. Looks like he drew Dismember for the turn, Alan.
Yeah, the common misconception, Cook, that Flicker Wisp has Flash. If it had Flash, it would be a very, 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 very good
So
card.
Flicker Wisp is already amazing.
Yeah.
If it had Flash, it would probably be the best 3-drop in Legacy.
Wow.
I'm not really even kidding.
Going pretty deep on that one.
It would be absurd.
I understand.
Like, they should probably just make that card, though.
So Alan, unfortunately, since he didn't try any cantrips this game, has not gotten any value out of his Snapcaster Mages.
Yep.
So it looks like we see an attack.
That's the thing about not being mono blue. You don't get to play Swords to Plowshares or Lightning Bolt.
Yeah, that's definitely a downside.
It's a flashback. He's sitting on to Dismember, but I think Jameson's clock racing back actually beats Alan's, especially when Alan is paying 4 life here.
Yeah, this is actually going to put him... This still puts him dead next turn.
Right.
This is going to be problematic for Alan here for sure. He's going to have to start leaving back these Snapcasters to be on Trump Block mode.
Right. Yeah, and Jameson's just going to get to eat with First Strike. Mirror Crusader, a card in Death and Taxes that I'm a huge fan of.
Yeah. This card sort of fell out of favor for a while because when Treasure Cruise is legal.
Yep. Very bad against Blue-Red Delver.
Yeah, I mean, that deck just had a million Fork Bolts and like Lightning Bolts and stuff like that, so it was very easy to just ignore this card and just kill it. Mm-hmm. And then they banned Treasure Cruise, and people went back to playing Abrupt Decay.
Yep, and it's amazing against Abrupt Decay. It's also amazing against Batter Skull, amazing against Elves.
Yeah, it's super annoying. All
Elves is a tough matchup for Death and Taxes. Playing Mirror Crusader helps. It's part of the puzzle for winning the matchup.
Yeah, you need a lot of things to sort of go your way in order
Having
for it to work out.
a creature they cannot block to put equipment on is a good place to start, though.
Yeah, absolutely. Like one of the main ways Elves can lose is Umezawa's Jin, and the way that deck sort of fights against it is they have all these things that bounce their creatures or lands, often creature lands.
You have to be able to block.
Yeah, basically, and Mirror Crusader denies that possibility. It's similar effect with when decks with Stoneforge Mystic have something like True Name Nemesis. Like you can beat or Flip Delver. Like you can beat just the Stoneforge Mystic with Elves, but it's really hard to beat Stoneforge Mystic plus a Flip Delver or plus a Mirror Crusader or something.
You have to be able to block on the ground to fog the equipment.
Otherwise, you're just very pressured to have Abrupt Decay.
Yep.
So, oh jeez, why is this? Everything is just messing up for us here. This is killing me.
Still fighting with the new overlay here. It's a love-hate relationship.
Yeah, apparently, and mostly hate.
Yeah.
Just doesn't like me at all. Every time I click on something, it just automatically resizes.
Yeah, that sounds great. Well, I love it, so.
I'm glad you love it.
Yeah, I don't have to fix it.
I do things for you.
You're sitting over there.
Exactly.
Mr. Rocket's calling that art on Mirror Crusader the ugly one.
Which one's the ugly one?
The promo, the one that Jameson was using. That's the one that I used too, actually. I think both look fine, but that's just me.
They both look like they have double strike, so I'm into it.
They do. They look very much double stricken.
Double stricken. I agree with that statement.
While we're between games here, I guess we might as well hype the giveaway slightly more, because after this game, we're probably going to do the giveaway, unless we have another match we can jump to, which we might.
Yeah.
So we're probably going to do this giveaway after round 2. We're giving away an Italian copy of the Legends printing of Sylvan Library.
Biblioteca Silvestre.
It has an awesome name.
Yeah.
And it just looks awesome.
It's Legends too.
Yep, it's Italian Legends.
Throw it in your Legacy deck. Throw it in your Modern deck if you want to get banned.
Yeah. Or, well, kicked out of the tournament.
Throw it in your EDH deck.
Definitely EDH.
Yes.
But yeah, we're going to do the raffle after this round, before round 3, which is going to be our last round for this specific tournament.
Yep.
And remember, you do have to be following to be eligible to win the raffle. And if you do win, we'll mail you this sweet card in the next few weeks whenever Mark gets a chance to run all of these raffle winners to the post office.
How many does he have in the queue right now?
I don't know. Probably a chunk. I don't know if you have a ton of experience with the Chicago post office, but most of them are hell on earth.
I don't know if is that really just only Chicago ones?
Chicago is especially bad.
Really? Because
most major cities, it's like the DMV.
I've been to I've been to the Boston one. I used to go like the Boston one.
That's horrific as well.
Horrible, just truly terrible. I don't think I've been to a Chicago post office in a long time though. Because,
it's not fun.
Yeah, I just hate having to do that. I've been to UPS's a few times, but that's about it.
My local one is the one in Andersonville or Uptown,
yep.
and it's probably the worst in the city. Its rating on Google Plus or whatever is like a 1 star. It's just everyone's just these people just don't care.
Yeah, I mean, you show up to work every day, and there's a group understanding that what you're doing is awful.
Yeah.
Not bad in the sense morally, just we are not here
to work hard.
No, we're here because this is a vital part of infrastructure of the country.
Yeah.
And it's just the worst.
It seems like a very difficult job, but it doesn't seem like the employees are motivated to give their best.
I can't say I'm convinced about that first statement.
All right.
About it being difficult. But then again, I've never worked there. So
I had a bad experience the other day. I had to go mail something. I had to pick up a package.
Yeah.
They tried to deliver it. I wasn't there. It was the kind that someone has to sign for. So I had to go there at 9 a.m. I had to be at work by 10, so I was cutting it a little close. They opened the doors at 9:05, 5 minutes late, whatever.
Yeah.
A line forms. I'm the fourth in line. They take 10 minutes to even take the first person.
Mm-hmm.
Each person takes about 10 minutes. That's whatever.
That's great.
It took a while. I feel really bad for the people who were 15 people into the queue.
So it looks like Alan is gonna start off with a brainstorm on turn 1. This is a bit of a risky line. I mean, he doesn't have a fetch land. I think he's basically locked himself this turn. He has a second land, but he doesn't have a third one ready.
Looks like turn 1 vial yet again for Jameson.
Does it resolve? Looks like it is.
Looks like, no days, no force.
And that's bad news for Alan. I think, so Alan's a little new to Legacy, and I think we're seeing sort of, okay, so he does have a second island, but I think we see a bit of, what's the word? The downside of being a novice to the format is that you don't necessarily know how to sideboard appropriately, and we see that Alan has brought in Surgical Extraction. Not a great card against what Death and Taxes is doing to you. More of a card that excels against combo and graveyard-based strategies.
With the way that the previous 2 games played out, I could see the appeal of wanting to counter the turn 1 vial and then get them all out of the deck because they're so good against counter spells, which is basically all that Alan has in his hand right now. It seems like he has a base straight up counter spell in his hand. Vial's gonna laugh at that.
Yeah, exactly. But I think the upside is not outweighed by the downside of having basically discarded a card for for the possibility of not doing much.
That's a good point.
You're not affecting the board, and you're not really able to fight through the disruption that Jameson has unless you're able to snipe a second card.
Also, looks like Alan is looking at a couple copies of Wasteland, one in play as well against Jameson's 2 basic planes. Jameson is going to be put to the test here, though. Turn 3 True Name is definitely a clock. Also, Alan has Umezawa's Jitte in his hand.
Wow. That's going to be a beating. I believe that's just the 1 sideboard copy.
Those 2 cards could just steal the whole game. Jameson also forgetting to tick up his Viola, too.
Yeah. So we see a couple copies of Dig Through Time are Alan's only real action here, and Jameson just going to jam this Jit.
If Alan has fourth land next turn,
that's going to be huge.
So this is the end of the brainstorm, right?
He cast a second brainstorm.
Okay, so he does know what this card is.
Oh, never mind. There's a Thalia in play now.
He also drew Caracas.
Yeah, sorry, we did see him brainstorm back this Caracas last turn. I didn't notice that.
This sequence is going to be quite unfortunate for Jameson. I think he has a couple options. He can bounce the Thalia now, then play the Jitte for only 2 mana. He can just play the Jitte for 3 mana and leave up the Caracas. He has a couple options here.
I don't think I love this attack. So this is a little aggressive here because this is sort of opening himself up to just the Jit being placed on the Mother of Runes. I mean, like I think you want to avoid him getting counters on it as much as possible. Although maybe Alan just is just aware that his own Jit is just going to be able to outrace anything that Jameson presents.
He's also passing. I mean, Jameson doesn't know about the Jitte. And it looks like Jameson is, in fact, putting it on the mom.
I mean, putting it on Thalia doesn't do anything in this situation.
Right. Looks like he's getting in there.
Yeah, so we see an attack. Alan gonna Caracas the Thalia back to Jameson's hand. And I don't think he's gonna have a response beyond that. And this mom's gonna get in for that 1 point of damage and a couple counters.
So a big thing here. Jameson did leave his vial on 2.
I think he intends to vial back in this Thalia.
Sure. I mean, it's not going to do much, though. It's basically just like stone raining the Caracas for a while, maybe.
It's not the worst thing in the world. I mean, we'll see what other cards Jameson has. I'd imagine he doesn't have any he does have Revoker in his hand.
If Jameson wants to do Thalia, he's probably going to want to do it now.
Looks like he declined to. I think I think he might vial in that Revoker.
That would be good.
Yeah, especially if Alan plays this Jitte.
Right. It is going to deactivate his own Jitte as well.
That's true. We see we have an expansive explanation of how Sylvan Library works with respect to Dredge. I don't know. I don't want to know. I never will know.
Looks like this is Umuzawa's Jitte.
All right, coming in. The Jitte mirror.
All right, I would not, if Jameson does have Revoker in hand, I would not do it yet.
Would you wait until he equipped?
Yes, because I want him to spend the mana.
Yes.
So it looks like he's actually responding to the fetch.
Yes, and he's just going to vial and Revoker naming Umuzawa's Jitte.
Yeah.
Looks like a small thing here. I think I would have used the counters.
Okay. To gain the life.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can. It's probably in your best interest to, although it might be better just to leave the counters there because if the Revoker does get killed at some point, it might be good for Jameson to already be able to protect the mom immediately.
Yeah, that's possible, yeah.
Another thing, actually doing it before Alan can equip might actually be better for him because Alan could still be attacking and putting counters on the Jitte anyway.
Plus, this works better with Flicker Wisp.
That's true.
If he's able to just flicker out his Revoker and start, getting counters on his own Jit, and being able to prevent Alan from getting his any on his.
It would be kind of aggressive to use Flicker Wisp in that mode. I would probably wait to fog once Jitte is back online on the true name, down the line.
Yeah. Ooh, see Camera Souls. I'm assuming that's naming human or maybe core.
Sure. This clock is also even going back and forth right now. If Jameson continues to attack with Mother of Runes.
I think he's gonna have to. I think he wants to get these counters, and he can't because he can't move the Jitte.
Right. So attack for 3.
Did I miss? I missed.
One swing from Alan.
Did I miss both?
Maybe. I don't think Jameson gained any life.
Oh yeah, then I'm just dumb. My bad.
It's a pretty interesting game.
Yeah, I want to see how this is gonna work out. I mean, Alan does have those 2 copies of Dig Through Time, which are now online.
Yeah. I wonder what he's digging to. Just removal spells for the Revoker, I guess?
I'd imagine the copies of Dismember in his deck.
Sure.
That'll let him at least get something done.
So Wasteland going after Counter Souls.
About parity. Doesn't really affect either player too much. It's just another card in his graveyard for Dig Through Time as well.
I think if I was Jameson, I also would... This was a point in the game where I might tick up Vial to 3 preemptively for Flicker Wisp.
Flicker Wisp, yeah.
It's tempting to not do it for Stoneforge Mystic, but it's a hard call to make, frankly.
Yeah, and it looks like Jameson's hand is just all removal spells in Thalia. He has a couple copies of Swords to Plowshares. I believe that's a Path to Exile.
So he is putting in Thalia end of turn.
Yeah, it's Path to Exile. And this Thalia is just we're aware it's not going to be doing a ton this game.
This is so it should have 4 counters on it actually. So Jameson probably missed his trigger.
Yes.
Or didn't announce it at least.
Yeah, it does get counters. Yeah, he's saying I didn't put counters on it, but that does happen.
One other thing here is I wonder if Jameson brought in Council's Judgment.
Yeah, I mean, that's very big. As you said, it's a card you definitely would have brought in, but it's hard to say.
That was a huge draw.
Mangara's great.
I don't think he should cast it.
No. I think I would just hold it and tick up Vial.
Yes. It's vitally important that it resolves.
All right, so that Thalia getting bounced back to his hand. It looks like Alan's he's going to dig first.
So he had 4 cards there?
Yeah.
Okay.
Is a dig through time. Jameson cannot respond. You can't put in Thalia and make him pay 1 more. It's not like a curse catcher.
Right.
And we're going to see... And Jameson is likely not going to have a response to this. He just has a bunch of removal spells that can only target his own creatures. And a couple guys that... well, I guess he could Violet Thalia. It doesn't really do much. I would probably main phase Violet in, though.
Yeah. Looks like he whiffed on Dismember.
What would he just find? Just a bunch of counters?
Counters, Spell Pierce, maybe. I think I saw a couple Delvers. Delvers are going to be pretty bad, because we know Jameson's sitting on a ton of removal.
Yeah, Alan doesn't know that, unfortunately. I'm not exactly sure what he's going to take. It looks like he's just going to take a couple copies of Force of Will, or at least 1 Force of Will, I believe.
Yeah, he might have taken, like, Force Delver.
Yeah, I see at least... Were there a couple Delvers? I see 1 Delver going to the bottom.
Right. I think there might have been 2 in the 7, but I can't be sure.
Yep, and we're going to see that it's going to take 3 here.
All right.
Unfortunately for Jameson, this fight does favor...
All right, he is just casting the Mangara into Force of Will. The thing is, I would actually also have activated and put in Thalia.
Yeah.
With him tapped out there. Yeah, so he missequenced this.
You can't respond.
Yeah, you can't do this.
Yeah, or you can do this, but it will still
It doesn't matter.
Yes.
So Jameson learning the ropes here.
Yeah. So, yeah, like this...
the sequencing in Death and Taxes is really, really important.
Yes, and often very tricky. I think they're just going to get a ruling here about how exactly this works. But
yeah.
As we said, the way it works is that even though Thalia is in play, the spell's already on the stack.
Right.
So you can't pay more.
Yeah.
I think Jameson's arguing, may or may not be arguing that he was trying to respond to his own Mangara. But I don't know if that's true or not.
It seemed like he kind of passed priority there.
Yeah, yeah. And I mean, that's what appeared to happen.
Yeah.
And looks like that's just going to get Force of Willed.
This honestly is not even. He's doing all right for the time being. Alan whiffed in finding the Dismember for the Revoker.
Yeah, Alan basically just has a handful of counter magic, but Jameson really needs to draw like another threat, a flying threat.
Or Stoneforge.
Yeah, Stoneforge would be great.
Flicker Wisp would be nice insurance.
I mean, Flicker Wisp, but just kill him.
It's very aggressive to go for it.
I think I would go. I think it's like, yeah, it's aggressive, but he hasn't shown any removal spells yet. Not that he's needed to show them, and you'd imagine that he would have killed the Revoker if he did.
That's true. I mean, if Alan ever tapped out again. Ooh, 2 true names though. That speeds things up. Jameson definitely regretting probably the sequencing from last turn.
if he ticks this vial up to 3 and draws Flicker Wisp, Alan is dead.
Why?
So he gets to go.
He can just block.
Oh god, he can't put it on the Revoker because he's got to blink it out.
Yeah, and you can't put it on Thalia because
it's going to be bounced. Yeah.
Yes. Oh, he did draw Wasteland.
Wasteland actually a really excellent draw here.
It's okay.
I mean
he's going to bounce it in response.
It's fine. Not the worst.
It's not.
We may or may not get to the point in this game where Jameson has to Sword Supplanter's his own creature for life.
Yep.
Ooh, a top deck Holy Light. That would be a good one.
That would be good.
That would be probably the best possible draw. Although I'm sure Alan has a Force of Will waiting for it, unfortunately.
Sure, why not?
You'd want if you could Violin Lawan, Cephalid Empress.
That would be good.
That would be pretty strong.
Yeah.
I don't know if I would love to see a card like that. Just like 1 in the sideboard. You could Cavern it out. You could Violet out.
Cavern on Cephalid.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
Yeah.
Cephalid Empress. And Jameson's in a rough spot here. He can't really attack with either of his creatures.
Yeah, he's been worked into a tough spot. True Name is definitely a beating, and not drawing Flicker Wisp is a huge problem.
Well, really, any evasive creatures. Like, he definitely had to Revoker this Jit, and the fact that he has this, it's been awkward because of his own.
Yeah.
We'll see how he can try and get out of the situation here. Like, you have to imagine that Alan's going to attack with both of his creatures next turn.
Mm-hmm.
Well, actually, I wouldn't expect that. You don't need to.
You know, you attack with one next turn and both the turn after.
It's a turn 2 clock no matter what.
Yeah.
And in this, you'd rather leave back the blocker.
True Name Nemesis is a really stupid card.
I mean, Progenitors is like pretty good against Death and Taxes, but like...
Why not make it 3 mana?
3 mana, you know.
3 mana can pitch to Force of Will. This is an attack?
Looks like it is.
What does this do?
Alan just gonna block?
Mother Rune just dies.
I think this was
Is he swordsing? No. What?
Yep.
Just to get counters?
Yep, I think so.
Okay.
No, he just does not get counters. He doesn't get counters.
Oh boy.
I have to go out there and tell him he doesn't get counters, hopefully.
Yeah, it doesn't.
Because damage is prevented because he has protection. True Name Nemesis. Hell of a card.
Yeah.
Nope.
No counters.
Also
Also does not trade. Yeah, I think Alan is pointing that out now. Interesting. Yeah, so True Name Nemesis having protection means that damage is not dealt, so Umza's Jitwei does not trigger. Jameson putting his own Jitei on Thalia cannot actually do that because of Revoker, and he can't equip it.
I'm assuming that didn't actually happen?
It did not.
Okay.
Also, he can untap his land.
Doesn't matter too much.
Yeah. The lack of flying is unfortunate, but like flying actually wouldn't win this race. You know? Like True Name was just gonna race like Sarah Avenger or Flicker Wisp.
Yeah.
In all likelihood.
Yep.
Unless Flicker Wisp came down many turns ago.
Yeah.
Looks like he drew Mother Runes, which doesn't do anything.
I think we're gonna see a Swords My Own guy and hope it's good enough.
You can, so if he attacks with both, Swords your own Revoker after attacks.
Yeah.
Right? If Alan has nothing, it works. He has 2 swords,
this
right?
is yeah, I mean this is the downside though, is that Alan Jameson is sort of getting screwed by the fact that he has his own Thalia in play. He can only cast one of these removal spells.
That's insane.
And Alan does have a Force of Will.
Oh my god.
Yep, there's a swing. We'll see if Jameson. Yep.
Cost 2.
Yep. Swords My Own Revoker.
That's a resolve.
Alan just says yes.
Gain 2 life. Go up to 7. Go down to 1.
Nope. Cannot equip it instant speed.
Speed.
Yeah.
Yeah, should have countered the Swords to Plowshares. I think he's asking to go back. Unless they're asking about something else.
Seems to be a bit of miscommunication going on here.
It might be a way for Jameson to steal this game. 6 counters being on the JIT is huge.
And that's just lethal.
Yeah.
If he gets to...
If he has no interaction. And he has Mother of Runes to make any blocks impossible. 6 counters is 12 damage.
Plus whatever the creature's power and toughness is.
Yep.
So 14.
Mm-hmm. And unblockable with Mother Runes. Crazy. Yeah, I think Alan just needed to counter the Swords to Plowshares.
Yeah.
And that was the game. Yeah, and
he's showing him his
he
hand.
had it. He just had to counter it. Crazy.
Yep. And that's going to be the match.
Jameson stealing a match.
Ooh, sneaking out of that
Lucky boy. Lucky boy.
Man.
That's the thing, you know, Death and Taxes, it's so powerful that, like, it can just sort of overpower other people. Other decks.
I think that's definitely
what that
the explanation
displayed there.
I'd say the amount of information, the amount of relevant information you can discern is truly impressive.
Seems like the best deck.
Yeah, Alan unfortunately not Swords to Posturing, not forcing that Swords.
That was an interesting game.
Yeah,
that was an interesting situation, and it wasn't the most intuitive play.
No, definitely not.
Neither of them.
Like Jameson is literally pointing his removal spell at his own creature.
Yep.
And if Alan counters that, then he kills him, and if he doesn't, we see what happens. You know.
Phyrexian Revoker.
Phyrexian Revoker.
It won that game.
I actually would have imagined that card would have gotten boarded out.
Yeah.
I was a little surprised to see it still in the deck.
It would be like one of the first cards I'd board out.
Yeah, like I feel like Death and Taxes against Delver tends to board out as many Revokers as they can.
Yep, in general.
What do you blind name usually against like Rogue Delver, Grimalomancer?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's nothing good.
What about Deck Faden?
No.
What about
out of disrespect for the card?
What about Cephalid Illusionist?
No.
No, wait, that doesn't have an ability.
Yeah.
What about Nomads in Core?
You know, the interesting ones are when you're just playing against like Scalding Tarn Go.
Scalding Tarn Go. Yeah, you just sit there.
You don't really ever play the Revoker.
Yeah.
I think I have before. Sometimes you can just sort of like this guy looks like he's playing Sneak and Show. I think at the Open, the SCG Open, it was day 2, and I think my opponent's first 2 turns were like Scalding Tarn into Volcanic Ponder, and then like Fetchland Go, like Misty Go, and I just blind named Sneak Attack.
And?
It worked out.
Got him. Reeling him in.
I mean, it didn't necessarily have to be that, but that's the highest payoff. You got lucky there. a little lucky.
Just a little lucky.
But, that's how Magic goes. He made the right move with the Swords to Plowshares. That was the big play.
You played to your outs.
Yeah.
Yeah, I shouldn't attack with that mother.
Yeah, probably not.
Yeah.
It was a tough spot.
All right. So I guess we're gonna be giving away this sweet Legends Sylvan Library, Italian Legends.
Raffle time has come.
Look at it go.
It's over Phil's face.
Give me this. I'm gonna get this money sticker off of it.
Yeah, we're gonna make this less gauche.
Less gauche.
David Byer, if you want one of the sweet play mats, we raffle them off sometimes.
Yeah, we raffled one off last week, I believe.
Yeah, tonight we're doing a Sylvan Library instead.
Yeah, you can take what you can get.
Yeah, it's all free stuff. Also, you can buy them, we believe, on Card Market's website. I think they have them in stock currently.
Sure.
mtgcardmarket.com for those who are unsure. It's also, I guess, the name of their store.
Right there. Hey.
But yeah, so we are raffling off Italian copy of Sylvan Library, a card I've never cast in Legacy, but it's pretty cool.
I have. I gotta say.
Did you open the raffle or not yet?
No. I'd say it's like a solid 10 out of 10. Casting Sylvan Library.
Sweet card.
Oh, it's great. I love it. I have the exact same one. I have
Phil
an Italian
says, good card.
A+.
This is Phil's card. Little does he know that Jameis and I actually stole this out of Phil's bag.
Oh, goodness. All right, I'm going to reset this raffle.
All right.
Everyone,
you're going to be wanting to type !raffle. You also want to be following the stream. So if you aren't already, thank you for the follow.
Yes. Thanks, guys. We really appreciate it.
While we're letting people join the raffle for Sylvan Library, we can run down the nights that we stream.
All right, I'll open the raffle first.
Okay, maybe that's good sequencing.
Bam, raffle is open. Feel free to join.
All right, so the nights that we stream, obviously Thursdays from MTG Card Market, 7:30 Central Time. We do Legacy, typically 4 rounds. Tonight it's 3. Take what you can get.
Yeah.
Other nights at Card Market, one other night at Card Market is 7:30. On Wednesdays, we do Modern.
Yep.
Different commentators. I've never commentated Modern here.
Neither have I. I would like to. I'm a pretty big fan of Modern.
Yeah.
So I'll probably step in at some point.
I know I'm slated to do it. I think the first Wednesday in May, I'm doing it with Gabby Spartz.
Cool.
Of recent Channel Fireball fame / Reddit fame.
Yeah.
Probably one of the best female players in the Chicago area.
Absolutely.
Her and Susan Zell.
Yeah. Susan's very good.
Yeah, there's also a Death and Taxes player whose name is escaping me.
Brenna. Yeah.
She's cool. I've met her before. I've cubed with her and her husband. They're very cool people.
Yeah, they're also Legacy players.
Yeah, and she plays the best deck.
Of course.
And our other night that we stream is Mondays from Chicagoland Games Dice Dojo, also on the north side of Chicago. That is Monday nights, Legacy, 7 p.m. Central Time.
And we've recently added a new night to the streaming schedule, which is Fridays, usually around 7 p.m. Central, where Mark will drink and play against you on Moto.
Drink beverages.
Drink delicious beverages.
Mark's a big guy. He can drink a lot of beverages.
Stunning. Couldn't even believe it.
Mostly whiskey. Let's be honest.
Look, he's a classy guy. You gotta give the people what they want.
He likes the beer that I buy him.
That's perfect.
He also, he knows good beer too.
I also like the beer you buy me.
Yeah, I'm sure
As
everyone
a rule.
would.
All right.
Yeah.
Hop in that raffle, guys.
He's about to go off on beer.
Yeah, I'm stopping you before you spiral out of control.
Yeah, this is no, this is water.
Yeah, don't even pretend.
Yeah,
this is a Thursday night.
Not that cool.
You're gonna go to bed in like 2 hours.
Correct. And then I'm gonna wake up early and go to work.
Great, best day ever.
It's gonna be great.
Are there big tournaments this weekend to watch coverage for?
Big coverage.
There's Star City Providence.
I think there's a GP.
It?
Someone was in the chat was saying earlier they're gonna watch the GP.
Okay.
I don't know which location or format it is. I think we'll be playing in a PPTQ here on Sunday.
Oh yeah, so if you're in the Chicago area, might as well plug this. There's a PPTQ. There's a sign around here somewhere. There's a PPTQ here at MGG Card Market. It is modern format.
Yep.
Yeah, this Sunday. I think it starts at noon, so registration is probably starts at 11.
Yep.
I'll be there. Greg will be there.
I'm gonna be playing Aether Vial.
I will not be playing Aether Vial. I will hopefully be winning. I will be playing Snapcaster Mage. That is for sure.
You know, I did give you quite the trouncing before we casted. I think that was 3-1 by my count.
It was 2-1 or 3-1.
I think it was 3. It felt like 3.
Right.
I think you scooped so quickly to the 2 Master of Waves draws that it seemed like
I punted that one. It should have been 2-2. I definitely win that game. Anyways.
I suppose.
Anyways, all right, we're gonna close down this raffle. I'll give a little countdown here and hopefully not mess it up.
Remember, please be following the stream. We don't want to disqualify anyone who wins.
Yes. All right, and bang.
A follower.
Eddie.
Yeah.
Yeah, an actual follower. Announced as winner in chat. Congratulations.
Good job.
You win it.
Congratulations, Jay Petty. Thank you very much.
Yes. Thanks for joining. Thanks for following all our new followers. I'm not gonna read through every single one here.
There are
Naked Player, Box Ghost, Jewel, Genyart, Top Gun, Sax, Top Czar,
Topaz Warrior.
Oh wow, I messed that up. Top Czar,
Social Renegade, Larnet, Cedar, Dayjunk,
Jundin Skill, T-Night, Death Stealer, El Snoop. Thank you.
Wow,
and
lots
Asha.
of flowers.
Woo.
Awesome. Thank you guys. And remember, we're going to be mailing out this Italian copy of Sylvan Library. We're going to message you, Jay Barry? Petty, sorry. I'm thinking J.M. Barry,
yeah,
like
clearly.
the author.
Don't know who that is.
He wrote, what's it called? Allison, no, what am I thinking? Yeah, Allison, what did he write?
No,
no.
Definitely not Alice in Wonderland.
Peter Pan? Yeah, Peter Pan, right? Right?
Sure.
I took a class a long time ago about books.
Yes. Look, Greg, we
About
get it.
books.
You went to college. Wow.
I think, yeah. It doesn't seem like I did.
Nope.
From
No,
the way
it does
I'm
not.
talking.
But you know, you put up an admirable.
All right, we're sending you a message, Jay Petty. And if you can confirm via Twitch message where we should send this card via mail, wherever you are, whichever continent. I don't know. We haven't sent. I think we've sent to 2 continents. I think just Europe and America so far, North America. But I think Mark is basically willing to send wherever.
Yeah.
In support of the stream and us trying to reach a wide audience. Because we know that a lot of Legacy fans are not just in North America.
No, definitely not.
Obviously, there's a huge Legacy contingent in Europe, also in Asia.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there are a lot of big Legacy and very competitive Legacy tournaments in Japan specifically. So,
GP, the GP, the Legacy GP in Asia is not this weekend, is it?
oh, it actually might be
GP Kyoto, is that it?
Yeah, unless Sydney. So our friend Sydney Lim. I know he posted on Facebook that he was currently flying to Kyoto.
Yeah.
I don't know if he went early or not. If there is a Legacy GP this weekend, that'd be sweet to watch though.
I don't know if there is. I can't tell.
I think it's either this weekend or next weekend. It might not be this weekend. Sydney might have flown over to Asia to visit Singapore, where he's from. It is
this weekend. All right.
Sweet.
Awesome. I mean, I'm assuming the coverage will be in Japanese. So.
On Nico.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've never actually watched their stream.
I've watched it once or twice.
How is it?
It's pretty sweet.
Yeah.
I enjoy it.
You don't know, I mean, if you know the format, you know what's happening.
Yeah, it's just magic, you know?
You just go with it.
All right.
It's all about the intonation anyway.
Mm-hmm. Always thinking, what? Although I gotta say, it's still tough sometimes, just to understand exactly what's going on. All right. I'm going to go look out there. We should be about done. Oh, yeah, absolutely. We're going to plug South Florida Magic. South Florida Magic has given us a few shout-outs. They're good folks.
Totally.
They stream Legacy, I believe, on Sundays.
Yeah, we're not competitors. So
exactly,
we can be symbiotic.
We're partners,
yeah.
if anything else. Symbiotic, good word.
Yeah.
Again, you went to college.
I've used that word already today. My vocabulary is minuscule.
Fantastic. But yeah, South Florida Magic, you guys should check them out. Good Legacy content.
Yep.
They stream Sundays. I don't know what other days they stream.
I know Sunday is the day that I've heard. That's their primary day. I think they try to fill in the gap post Star City coverage because usually that wraps up kind of early.
That makes sense.
Sundays. Makes a lot of sense timing wise.
Sharkula, thank you for the shout outs though. We really appreciate it, and we will shout you guys out as often as we can.
Totally.
Yeah. All right. I'm gonna go see if we got a match. We have. I think there's I think we're about done in the round.
Yeah, I guess we're probably going to look for the 2-0 match since we have an 8-man tonight. Obviously, we have a small turnout tonight. Things happen. The weather in Chicago also got really nice today, so people might just be doing outdoorsy social things and enjoying the weather. We have a couple regulars, one of whom, Tony Zinni, just getting back from the Pro Tour, we think. He was in Brussels and maybe going on a small vacation with his girlfriend over there in Europe. Kyle Norman, another regular, is at his brother's wedding in Tennessee this weekend. I think he left today. Grant Fly calls me out on my bullshit. Good weather, bad weather. Weather always prevents us. Yeah, that's true. We've had small turnouts also because of very bad weather. Really, we want not great weather, but cold. Cold and not precipitating. Those are the best turnouts. If it's winter and it's not snowing, then we get a ton of people because no one has anything else to do. Oh, so Tony chiming in the chat that he just got home, so he will be here next week. Sounds good. Usually, Tony beats the crap out of me when we play. That's fine. That's fine. I don't actually play that much anymore. Mostly just talking. Gibbous starting to talk about the changing structure of SCG, how there's been less really high-level legacy video coverage to ingest. And it is frustrating. When it does come around, it's all the more sweeter, I suppose, which is sort of small benefits, I guess. You gotta be happy with whatever there still is, but we're trying to fill that void a little bit. Wolf Sokol asks, should I buy a box of Modern Masters 2 or Modern Storm? Modern Storm hasn't put up good results in quite a while. I used to play the deck. It's super fun to play, but it's not the most powerful deck in Modern. The bannings have really, really hurt it. Past in Flames is an amazing card, but I don't know if I can endorse it currently. I think if I was looking to play a deck like that in Modern, I don't even know. I mean, Twin's not really the same kind of deck at all, but it's kind of just a better blue-red combo deck at this point. Infect is kind of cool if you want to build that. Buying a box of Modern Masters 2, though, especially if you're going to sit on it, might be a really, really good investment. I know that boxes of Modern Masters 1 appreciated a lot in value. The resale value of one of those boxes sealed at this point is it's a lot. I think it's worth $500. Couple people. Oh, TX Rager saying that they will be in Chicago in 3 weeks. So 3 to 4 weeks. I hope you come out. That'll be great. Always looking for more players. Gib Tuck calling out Aether Vial. Sweet card. Probably the most busted card in Modern. I'm not partial at all. Zio asks, what city town is Dojo in? So Dojo is also in Chicago, in Chicago proper, as well as Card Market. They're both on the north side of the city. MTG Card Market is by the Belmont Red Line stop, so it's just sort of south of Wrigleyville, just south of Wrigleyville. And Dojo is further north. It's by the Bryn Mawr Red Line stop. It's in the Edgewater neighborhood, which is actually close to where I live. I sort of live in between the two, so I can ride my bike to either in about 10 minutes, and it's awesome. So Zio comments that they live in Lansing, so a suburb of Chicago. So yeah, it's a far drive. It's unfortunate. I hope, for anyone who's like in driving distance, but wavering on coming out some night, I do encourage you. It is really fun. Sometimes the turnout is a little low. Sometimes it's really high. Sometimes like 24 people on a random Thursday or Monday. But we do have a good time, and anytime you could make it out, or if you can come on the weekends maybe to like one of Card Market's PPTQs or something like that, that would be great. There's a good crowd, a good Magic crowd in the city. Yeah, TX Rager also comments, buy a box of Modern Masters and do not open it. What else is going on? Ooh. So yeah, Wolf Sokol asks, why not Storm? I also have Merfolk, if that makes a difference. I think Merfolk is a more competitive deck at this point, actually. One of the things about Storm, you don't have a great Abzan matchup, and you don't have a great Twin matchup, which are sort of like the two best decks at the moment. And I actually think that Merfolk's quite good against both, which is really one of the selling points of the deck.
Against Twin?
Yes. Or, sorry.
No way. There's no way you have a good Twin matchup.
With Merfolk?
Yeah.
I think you have a pretty good, actually.
Man. Grim Lavamancer must be falling out of favor, because that card seems hard to beat.
It's good. I mean, you path it. I don't know.
Pat's already got a lot of targets for it.
Master Waves is really good.
Yes. Yes, it is. It is great.
Also, speaking from the Twin side, Spreading Seas is actually really good against you. Spreading Seas going after your red sources.
Yeah, your Sulfur Falls.
If you don't draw a bunch of Sulfur Falls, like getting your Steam vents turned into just islands can be really awkward.
It's a little rough because there aren't that many decks that are casting Anger of the Gods right now, and I think that's a big boon for the Merfolk deck.
Totally.
Like if they're like that's a reason why I would play if people are struggling with Merfolk, I would instantly play Scapeshift.
Sure. Yeah, that seems very difficult to beat.
Yeah, just they have just like so many high impact sideboard cards.
Yeah.
And your sideboard. That's sort of been the biggest issue I think with Merfolk is that the sideboard tends to be bad.
It's not great.
Yeah.
Being white also helps a lot though.
Yeah. All right, so we're gonna hop down to our match. So we got Jameson. We're gonna have Jameson back on camera. We have the two undefeateds right now.
Sweet.
Jameson playing against Dan Johnson, who's playing a blue-white-red Stoneblade deck.
So I do think this matchup is rough for Death and Taxes, but it is winnable. Mother of Runes is super important. Not overextending into potential Supreme Verdicts is also important.
If Dan is playing the same version as last week, I feel like it would be pretty tough for what Death and Taxes is doing. In particular, the sort of Tops and Terminus version. Like he had 4 Terminus in his deck.
Yeah, and Jameson might not even suspect that. He does have the turn 1 Vial though. He's very good at drawing the Vial on his opener.
And his opponents are very good at having Force of Will for it.
Yeah. So
oh my god.
It's obviously not ideal for Jameson, but it is a 2-for-1 on turn 1.
I think you just take it. Like,
it's not the end of the world.
You'd rather him Force of Will that than Stoneforge Mystic.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, obviously, you'd rather it resolves and you never have to even cast a spell.
Yeah, obviously. Yeah.
Those are the real Death and Taxes nut draws, but they don't happen all the time.
Play out, Greg?
It's favorable for Stoneblade.
Plus Dan's version is heavy sweeper version.
Yeah.
Like
Lots
4 Terminuses.
Yeah, it seems like Dan's deck is very engineered to beat fair decks.
For sure. Yeah, he has a lot of like really good tools for battling against fair decks. We'll see if he last week his deck had only lightning bolts as removal spells. We'll see if he's changed that into having swords. Yeah, there's definitely at least a couple copies of swords.
I haven't actually seen any lightning bolts. I've only seen swords.
I think that's like way better.
Is he only blue-white? There might not be any red.
Oh wow. Yeah, I think he is just blue-white. Like,
Yeah.
You didn't see a Volcanic Island,
I
did you?
don't think I did. There might have been one hanging out for sideboard.
For Pyroblasts?
Yeah. But I don't think I saw any.
Change the deck name.
This looks like it's end step he was fetching.
And I wonder if that's going to be... Yep. Oh, no. Oh, my God.
Okay.
I'm so stupid. This is what happens when I open my stupid mouth.
Well, we didn't see it.
Yeah.
But it's because he had it in his hand.
Yeah. And we see a Batter Skull. And that's Stoneforge is getting swords right away.
That makes sense.
Yeah, you don't want to leave that in play.
Yeah.
Like, you want Dan to have to spend 5 mana to put that in, to put that Batter Skull into play.
Yeah, you want him to spend 5 mana for the Batter Skull, and then you blink out the Germ token with your Flicker Wisp.
Perfect.
Yep.
Best day ever. Or you just port them out of the game so they can't ever put it into play.
That also would be good.
So looks like Jameson just has a couple Revokers and a Flicker Wisp in his hand. Not terrible, but he got to untap with his Mother of Runes.
Yeah, that is a big one. Looks like Revoker's coming down here, and he's attacking with Mother of Runes.
That's very aggressive.
Yeah, that is something I would not do. Because getting your mom swords is not fun.
No, not the best thing in the world. Sending her to the farms, so to speak.
It seemed like a more reasonable thing to do in the last match we saw Jameson play because, when your opponent's mono blue, there's probably only 2 to 3 removal spells in their whole deck.
What are they going to have? Just like a couple of dismembers, maybe Vapor Snag, maybe Gut Shot?
Right.
Gut Shot is probably the biggest nightmare.
Yeah. Dan has showed him blue, white, and red mana in the first 2 turns. That could mean 8 spot removal spells.
So yeah, it's tough to say exactly. I think I would much rather have the defensive Mother of Runes in that case. So Dan just flopping a Stoneforge Mystic into play and no search.
So we assume he has both a Jitte and Batter Skull already in his hand.
I think it's even possible that there is no Jitte in his deck. If
in
he's
his
playing
main deck?
Yeah, if he's playing a more controlling version. Nope, it's there.
Okay, yeah.
It's right there. Looks like he has both of his equipment. He has a Jace in his hand, which is not great versus what Jameson is presenting.
So what do you think Jameson has named with his 2 Revokers?
I'd imagine one of them is Stoneforge Mystic.
Yes.
What
do you think the first one was?
The first one?
Yes. Because it came down after he had killed the first Stoneforge.
Maybe Jitte.
I would name Jitte.
I think that's
in the dark.
Yeah, because in general, Jitte is better than Batterskull against Death and Taxes. So if he goes to fetch Batterskull, I think that's like an indication that he might just have the Jitte in his hand.
Right.
So we see a double fetch from Dan here. We're down to 14. I'd imagine this means he's going to just deploy Jason.
Yeah, that seems like the thing to do.
What do you do with Jace?
Well, bouncing anything doesn't work.
Nope.
There's a mom. So probably Brainstorm.
You could... I think I would be more inclined to just uptick. Yeah. I think that's what he's going to do here. Okay. Just because you just lose your Jace immediately if you don't...
Well, here Jameson's going to have the option to make a nice play of Flicker Wisp out the less meaningful Revoker and reset it to Jace.
Or flicker out the Stoneforge Mystic and just attack it.
You could.
With his mom. That does again leave him open to spot removal, which he probably doesn't want to do here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's just going to send both at Jace. Dan will not block.
So it looks like he's not going to flicker out. And this is a Thalia coming down.
Oh, this will be a nightmare.
It's going to be Rishon Port on the white source, I presume.
White definitely seems correct here. I mean, Jameson does not know the exact deck list, but no, he's going for the Volcanic Island here.
Okay.
And you really got to hope that Dan never draws Terminus at this point.
Looks like he found a Swords to Plowshares, though.
Swords is not great here. He really needs to draw... He needs to have a couple removal spells. And it's going to be tough for him to cast a couple removal spells when there's a Thalia out.
Yeah, Thalia plus Port.
Yeah, it really starting to pressure Dan's resources.
It's like a Brainstorm Jace.
Let's see if he finds Terminus here. He does not. He has a Tundra, a Click. I think that's a second Jace between those two.
Pretty awkward.
It is. Not a lot of relevant spells here. He really needs to find a Terminus to get himself back in the game.
One other thing Jameson did by... I guess the Revoker is on Stoneforge, so there's no danger of that activating.
Yeah, and tossing in a Batter Skull or something like that.
Yeah, it just seemed like not tapping down white was really awkward.
Thank you. I did not fix Dan's record. He is also 2-0.
Sorry, yeah. This is the finals of our 8-man.
He's 2-0, and I forgot to start the timer. Everything's great.
I'd say 40 minutes.
It has not been 10 minutes.
All right, 45. These games take a really long time.
Yeah, the sort of like Stoneforge mirrors.
It's very easy to draw unintentionally. So I will say that the clock is a factor if it goes to 3 games.
Oh man, I want to say I'm sad for whoever cut Shadow of Doubt from their main deck, because Shadow of Doubt is easily my favorite one of in Modern. You just get them. They never, ever, ever play around it.
Sounds great.
And when they do, you still get them.
Jameson deciding who to attack here. He pointed, I think, at Jace.
I'd imagine at least 2 of them are going at Jace. Dan is, because I think Dan's going to block whichever one. If one is going at Jace, then Dan's going to block that one.
Okay.
And force Jameson to use Mom and then respond with Swords to Plowshares.
Yeah, I would definitely not use Mom if at all possible.
Oh no, he's thinking about sending in this Vendilion click here. He could. This is pretty good because this means he could double block and for sure kill off the Revoker. But I think he wants him to activate this Mother of Runes.
He's just letting Jace die.
I think that's probably fine.
He has a backup in hand.
I think only that one Revoker was going at Jace.
Oh, okay.
So
you think he took 4?
I believe so.
Yeah.
And we're going to see a Vendilion click here. I wonder if this is going to target Dan.
He has 2 equipment and a Swords to Plowshares in his hand. He really needs to find just a Supreme Verdict or a Terminus.
Terminus.
The thing with Terminus, though, is it costs so much mana unless it's miracled.
I think he's hoping to miracle it. He has 2 white sources. Jameson has to support both of those every turn.
Right. Which is exactly what I would do if I was Jameson.
Certainly, but you also are aware of what's in Dan's deck.
I am. I've seen Tundra, though.
Yeah.
And basic Plains.
Yeah, I guess putting together that the way you lose this game is
a sweeper. Yes.
But looks like Dan is going to target Flicker Wisp, and he's just going to...
Nope, goes in the bottom.
Yeah, there you go.
Draw your card.
That's interesting that he decided to take it there. I think I would have been interested in getting rid of one of my equipment. So we'll see what these are targeting here. Dan has Swords to Plowshares as the only available spell, but again, basically not doing anything against Inactive Mother of Runes. And yeah,
cutting off white.
There we go.
Definitely correct. Against miracles, like 90% of the time, cutting off white is the right play.
Sure.
If you have like choices.
All right. So Dan thinking right now. I think he.
Sorry. Thank you, Phil. Just ordering around Phil like the terrible person I am.
I am your goblin lackey.
Do you want to be my Mother of Runes instead?
Nope. No, I do not. Let's walk away from that forever. All right, Dan gonna let the ports resolve. Draw for turn. He knew his top card from Jace's Brainstorm.
And Geoducks, thank you very much for commenting that you liked the new overlay. I know Mark did quite a bit of work in the past week to get this to where it's at. And did he pay 3 mana for that, Jite? Thank you. Alright, Phil running out.
Dan, that costs 3.
Phil running out there informed Dan that Muzawa's Jite costs 3 mana. In this scenario, looks like a 3rd Revoker out of Jameson.
Ooh. Well, we have to imagine among these 3 Revokers that Jit was one of the names.
Jit's probably one of them.
Look at these anemic beats. This is good old fashioned Magic right here.
It's great.
Although,
I wonder. So it looks like he's just gonna let it die, or is he gonna Mother of Runes it?
I think it depends what it's naming.
Yeah, that one might be Batterskull, or is it Stoneforge? Because the thing is, like, yeah, I think you just let it die.
Yeah, I don't think it matters. I think you just let it die. Just hold up Mom for as long as possible.
Yeah. So it looks like he's going to save it.
Jameson's going to save it.
So the thing is, actually, the Stoneforge is dying, so he can't put Batterskull in on the cheap.
Nope.
Because Jameson can port down the 5th land.
I mean, he needs 6 lands.
Oh, you're right. Well, now he definitely can't cast it this turn.
Yeah.
Looks like he's actually going to use this. Okay. This is pretty bad for Jameson, actually. So now Jite is going to be able to get loose.
This is the reason I would not want to use my
Mom.
My mother here, because like this is the nightmare scenario, right?
You only actually use the Mom when you absolutely have to.
Yeah. Like now Dan can start getting counters on this Jite and start grinding through this board, and I don't know if Jameson can win from that.
He needs basically a way to kill the click.
Yeah, any Swords to Plowshares would be insane.
This is just gonna eat probably Thalia and Mom.
Yeah, sir. Yes. Yeah. Exactly what happens. Jameson doesn't even get to untap with them. and he only has these 2 Revokers left, neither of which are naming Umezawa's Jite.
Looks like he has Flicker Wisp in hand. Is that right? So Wasteland going after the red source.
No, he has Aether Vial in his hand.
Oh, okay. Not quite as good.
And these Revokers are just not gonna race this this Umezawa's Jite.
Yep. And yep, he basically just could not have afforded to tap that Mother of Runes to turn on Swords of Plowshares. That should be the game.
And here's a Snapcaster on his Swords of Plowshares, and that's going to be a concession.
Jeez. I don't know if I'd scoop that quickly, though. I mean, Batterskull is going to come down, but...
I don't think Batterskull was the problem.
No.
I don't think he was ever beating the Jite on a flyer.
If he just drops a removal spell.
He has to kill the Snapcaster then as well.
True.
Like, the Jite immediately guns down both Revokers.
You draw Batterskull. Or Caracas for the click. Like Caracas and a Swords.
I guess Batterskull is like a reasonable card to draw there, but even though Jameson didn't know what was in Dan's hand was very equipped to beat a Batterskull.
Right.
He had a Jace and everything.
Sure.
Those ports, I think, were they foil?
Probably.
I don't know. I think they actually weren't.
I mean, foil ports are like $500 or $600.
Are they more or less than Japanese foil Stoneforge Mystics?
I think they are more.
That's
a lot. I think foil Japanese Stoneforges are like $200 or $300 maybe.
Yeah, that's a lot.
It's a lot of money.
I have a foil Stoneforge Mystic.
Now I just need to teach Jameson how to play the deck.
Yeah, the deck. This is a deck. You know, it takes a while to feel like really comfortable playing this deck.
Yes.
Right. Like, how long have you been playing this deck?
More than a year.
Yeah.
The first tournament I did well with it in was last April in Milwaukee, and.
Oh yeah, the one that Eric Rill won.
Yes.
Yeah, because I was there really late.
Yeah, I did not get to play against him.
Yeah. Did you? How'd you end up doing?
I got 16th.
16th.
Yeah.
I think I got. No, I topped 64 at that.
Sure.
Playing Elves. That's the first time I played against Greg Pino.
Nice. That's a good matchup for Elves.
Yes, whenever he plays.
Yeah.
Every time.
Yep.
But yeah, I think it was one of the first tournaments. I was like my string of tournaments where I just played Elves and I just like cashed every tournament I played in.
Sure.
It's great.
There are a lot of people who are pretty bad at playing against Elves, which is actually a nice draw to Death and Taxes as well.
Yeah. I mean, that's sort of the theme with decks I play. People mess up a lot against both Storm and Elves. Elves in particular. That's what I know. Tommy Graves said that he thought that was always the best advantage of playing Elves, is that people would just mess up against it a lot.
The thing is, maybe that's just the advantage of like playing a lot of Legacy, is that people like you see other people's screw ups more often. Like you know all the angles.
Yeah. Watching a lot of Legacy is really beneficial for learning about Legacy.
Also playing a lot of Legacy.
Yeah, which we both done quite a bit of. Oh, looks like Dan's got some sweet sideboard cards. I think he's got at least a Wear Tear. I wonder if there was like a Pyroclasm or something like that.
Some hateful shit.
Oh yeah, bring it in.
There's a lot of fair decks in our local meta, and people like to hate on me. I like to think.
I think I would describe it as giving you the business.
Yes, I've definitely been given business before, to the tune of, for example, 4 of sideboard copies of Dread of Night in a test deck. That was fun. That was fun to play against.
I think we played once when I was playing Storm, and I cast turn 2 Dread of Night. I waited for you to play your second creature.
Right.
Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah.
It was not a Refrexing Revoker, I don't think.
Oh, no.
No.
Oh, it was a Spirit of the Labyrinth.
Yeah, it's not good.
Yeah, it was really bad.
Yeah, back when I was playing Spirit of the Labyrinth.
R.I.P.
Yeah, not that good.
Man, I haven't played Dread of Night in a while, but it does feel good. Let's pull up Dread of Night for Greg.
What is the next amazing hate bear that Wizards should print for me?
For just for you?
Yeah, I don't even know what I would want.
I feel like you have so many riches right now.
Right.
Like, you're not even playing, you're not playing, like, Aegis of the Gods.
Yes.
Well, you're not playing Spirit of the Labyrinth, which is a good card.
Maybe just like a 2-mana Aven Mind Sensor. Is that too much to ask for?
Yeah. You just like Leonin Arbiter, but it's a 2/1.
But just everything.
Yeah. Just I want.
They can't search.
Aven Mind Sensor, 1 less. That's it.
Yeah, it can be a 1/1 flyer.
You can.
No, has to be 2/1. Has to trade with Delver. Sorry, I take it back.
Is there something that makes your bird creatures cost 1 less?
I don't know. I've considered playing Judge's Familiar.
I I've gotten got by that card in Modern, and it is a horrible feeling.
Yeah.
I tried to, my opponent went turn 1 Vial, turn 2 Thalia, and I went end step, bolt your Thalia for 2 mana, and he vialed our Judge's Familiar and countered it.
Woo, boy.
It was horrible.
That sounds like a blowout.
Ding, 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 ding. Aether Vial on turn 1.
Card is OP.
Card really is great. Ooh, we got two different artifacts here.
All right.
We see a turn 1 top on Dan's side. This is going to give another target for Phyrexian Revoker.
Looks like Jameson's just casting his 2-drop.
I think that's fine.
It signals to me that he has another 2.
Yeah.
And also that he's most likely going to want to be taking his Vial straight up to 3, which is, I mean, pretty common, I think, with the deck, unless you just happen to draw a hand with a lot of 2s.
Yeah.
Usually, if you have nothing in hand, I would a lot of the time go straight up to 3 because the payoff of just having access to Vialing and Flicker Wisp if you draw off the top is insane.
Yeah.
In a lot of scenarios.
I think Jameson also just wants to get his attack on as fast as possible. He lost that game with Dan at 2 life.
He is the aggressor in the matchup.
Absolutely. I think you just need to beat down.
Like
and,
Dig is going to Dig Through Time being in Dan's deck gives him so much inevitability. This is I think a spicy one of that I've mentioned to Jameson. It looks like he actually is trying it out. I have not tried it myself.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just really sick and tired of Sarah Avenger mostly.
Yeah. I've heard that once or twice.
It's just so bad against combo.
Yep, it's really terrible.
So bad.
But instead you have this this Hate Cat.
Yes.
Hate Cat bear.
Hate Cat.
It's pretty great. You could play Cleric Tribal with Leonin Arbiter and even mine's just a Bird Wizard.
Yes.
Cat Cleric Bird Wizards.
Yeah, the overlap is not great for your Cavern of Souls, but what can you do?
One of the worst Cavern of Souls decks I've ever seen was a modern Black-White Hate Bears deck that played 3 copies of Cavern of Souls, but in the deck were copies of Leonin Arbiter,
Yep.
Aven Mind Sensor, Tidehollow Scholar, Dark Confidant,
Yep.
And I think there was maybe one other creature. Of those 4 creatures, there are 6 different types, and none of them overlap. I think maybe Dark Confidant's a wizard.
Sounds great.
All right, so we see a Snapcaster Mage playing the part of Ambush Viper.
Yeah, that's fine.
I will block your Leonin Arbiter.
Is this Flicker Wisp?
Yeah, I think this is prudent. You might as trading your Arbiter for a Snapcaster is not really what you want to be doing.
No, you want him to be shutting off Dan's fetches.
Or at least making them more
making
expensive.
them very awkward.
Yeah, especially with top in play. Like the bonus of top is how efficient it is. Ooh, so Dan does find Terminus, but he has no white mana. I think he almost put Terminus on top. But
yeah, there's no good way for him to. So, is there a way? Actually, I guess there is. So next turn, he's going to be able to reveal the Terminus. Actually, it's not going to work.
Sure, it is. He can go.
How does it work?
So he's going to go. Because Jameson hasn't drawn Port.
Oh, you're right. He does have just enough mana.
Yeah, so we're going to see an attack for 5. I think this is just going to go through here.
So Dan's going to be able to reveal the Miracle, and with the Miracle trigger on the stack, fetch.
Paying 2 to fetch.
And then he's going to have the white source.
And the red source.
And, the remaining mana.
Yep.
If Jameson has a Wasteland, it breaks this up. Or a Port.
Yeah, Port or Wasteland would be really, really clutch here to stop this from happening.
Although, actually, Port doesn't do it because Dan could just tap his top to draw the card in response to the Port.
Yeah. Oop, looks
like he's just chumping the Thalia, sort of signifying the Terminus Miracle. So he is paying 2 for Arbiter. And then he's going to go get a white source. One thing, Jameson is going to be able to save his Thalia with Caracas.
Yeah, and then that's like a nice bonus here. Like, you don't want to get completely blown out. Like, this is still going to be a 2-for-1.
Mm-hmm. But it's not a 3-for-1.
No. So Jameson going to give Terminus a read here. Looks like I see at least 1 copy of Swords to Plowshares in his hand.
Also, Dan actually did throw away a Snapcaster sort of in this pursuit, so it's sort of like a 2-for-2.
Yeah, which is definitely not the worst if you're in Jameson's seat. Like, I think I'd be tempted. I think he's right now deciding. maybe he has another Flicker Wisp and he wants to save perhaps his Arbiter. He could save Arbiter. He could save a Flicker Wisp.
He can, but then he loses the one he puts in.
Yeah.
Like it keeps a clock in play. But he could also just like put it in end of turn.
Yeah,
it kind of does the same thing.
I think putting it in end of turn is probably just more effective here. So Jameson deciding if he has any sort of ways to protect against this. So how this works, as we said, Dan is fetching. He has to pay 2 extra to search his library because of Lean and Arbiter.
Mm-hmm.
This is with the Miracle trigger on the stack. And he's going to go fetch his White Source and attempt to pay 2 for this Miracle because there's a Thalia out.
Right. So he's doing it now, which is actually just going to make it better for Dan.
Yeah, this actually makes the Terminus cost 1 instead of 2. I actually think I don't think Jameson has a 3 in his hand. It looks like it's just 2 copies of Thalia.
Okay.
It might be a Flicker Wisp.
No, that's a Flicker Wisp.
Okay.
So Jameson, he's letting Dan get the land.
Yeah.
Then Terminus resolves.
So unfortunately, this is giving Dan a free top activation.
It is, which is not nothing.
No. Yeah, you want him to pay for the Miracle first.
Totally. Free spare mana and Legacy is pretty potent.
Yeah, so the difference here is that even though you're paying for the Miracle, the spell has to still go on the stack. So it was Miracle trigger, and then he still has to cast it.
So Dan here gets to play a Ponder for only 1 mana. Like, if he had just left it in play, Dan would have had to have another land to play the Ponder.
Which it looks like he did have.
Okay.
So it didn't change too much, but
sure.
It's still a free top activation, and it's still Dan being able to sort of use his mana at will.
It's just best practices. But what can you do? Jameson's still learning the ropes.
Yeah. So if he had a Flicker Wisp in his hand, he can't bounce the Flicker Wisp. Like, he has no way of bouncing it. The Crocus only bounces legendary creatures.
Yes.
He has no way of bouncing it. So it looks like there's a needle that Dan drew, and I imagine that this is naming either Caracas or Aether Vial. I think both are pretty reasonable names.
Yeah, it's probably Aether Vial.
Yeah, I mean he did he keep off of his Ponder?
I think so.
Then there's a Containment Priest incoming.
Yeah.
So I think I would probably just name Caracas here.
Sure.
I guess. We'll see. But yeah, he's just gonna let it resolve and then name. I think he named Aether Vial.
Mm-hmm.
Jameson gonna draw. I think it might have been a 3rd copy of Thalia. There's a Thalia. Yeah, there we go. For the camera. Perfect.
Thank you.
There we go. Appreciate the viewer-friendly thing. All right, we can just hop down to the area. All right, so we have this Thalia versus Dan's hand. So Dan has a 2nd top in his hand. Not great. I think it's a Jite and a Terminus. So he needs a creature right now more than anything else.
And then it should be fairly elementary.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a Containment Priest in the top 3.
Sure.
So we can start just like getting in and with GT counters, and that'll be tough for Dan to get, for Jameson to win through. But this Thalia will be doing a pretty good job on defense.
Yeah. One thing I wonder is, did Jameson board in Cataclysm?
Oh, Cataclysm would be an absolute beating here.
I mean, like, Dan sort of has it covered because he has top, which is great for rebuilding. But Jameson already has Thalia, which is usually the creature you want post-Cataclysm.
All right, so we see an end-step activation of top, and Dan's going to flash in Containment Priest. Let's see if Jameson has a response. He's just going to Sword Splashes it right away. And this is, I mean, very important here. That does cost 2 mana.
It does. I think they're just... When is this at?
This is Jameson's end step.
Okay, I'll work up.
But yeah. We'll see that. This will be a 2 mana Swords to Plowshares. So Dan going to top in response here. And just going to let it resolve. But yeah, this is going to be pretty important for Jameson to deny Dan a creature to put Umezawa's Jit on.
Totally.
So we see a fetch.
Containment Priest is an interesting card to board in against Death and Taxes. It's good at hosing Aether Vial. Basically just like a Pithing Needle on Aether Vial of sorts that can also attack. But it actually can be a little awkward because the interaction with Flicker Wisp is not nothing.
Yeah, I mean, you can just... it's not... too bad because Dan's deck doesn't have that many creatures.
That's true.
Like, it would be more problematic if he was playing like a bunch of Delvers and stuff like that.
Then it would be very dangerous.
Yeah, then you just start getting your guys destroyed. Ooh, Stoneforge Mystic. Perfect card for Dan there.
Yep, that's going to be good.
He gets to play Stoneforge Mystic and then shuffle away 2 lands. And Batterskull is going to be great here. I think he's just on... I think this Terminus is going to end up getting hard cast here.
Makes sense.
Maybe in a couple turns. Although that's going to be pretty expensive with Thalia out. 7 mana for a Wrath. Yeesh.
Looks like he's going for Batterskull.
Certainly makes sense from Dan's side of the table, given that he has the GT in play. But I wonder if this would make me a little skeptical from Jameson's side. But I actually think Batterskull is even better than GT right here.
Probably. Yeah. I mean, at the moment, because Dan doesn't have a good attack.
Yeah.
With the Jite.
And there's another Swords to Plowshares. This is the main reason why. Just because it makes sense, given that Jameson's been holding a bunch of cards, that he has something like a pile of
equipment,
or just a pile of Swords to Plowshares.
Oh, sure.
Let's see what we got here. We've got a port.
That's good. Attack for 2.
It stops Dan from hard casting that Batterskull next turn.
Yeah, so he's probably going to want to port down, I think, the Volcanic at this point.
The downside to the ports are that Dan has top in play, and top is a great way to mitigate any sort of mana loss.
Right. Usually, at this point, I'd probably be porting in the draw step.
Yes, I agree.
Although, when Dan tops end of turn, the utility is kind of lost. Actually, you probably don't want to then.
Yeah.
If you think it's important for them to top in their upkeep, you don't want to port then.
Yeah.
You know, like if they haven't done it end of turn and they're gonna maybe want to do it in their upkeep anyway.
And you don't want to give them that free mana.
Yeah, just wait till the draw step.
Yeah, you just wasted 2 mana effectively.
Yes.
All right, so Dan going to draw Brainstorm for a turn and then just cast a main phase Brainstorm. I think he just wants to get this Terminus floated back on top of his deck. It's, again, not going to be a great way to answer what Jameson is doing, given that he has this Caracas.
Yes.
So it's going to be really hard to kill this Thalia. But he does have Swords to Plowshares, so he can sort of 2-for-1 himself in order to get himself there.
Right.
But it's sort of a bit of a resource spew.
Yes, especially because we know, I think that Jameson has maybe another copy of Thalia in hand.
Yeah. I think Dan is just interested in just getting a Batterskull into play as fast as
Looks like he picked up another Swords to Plowshares, too.
Oof. And it's not a bad draw, it's just not very impactful.
Yeah, he'd rather, I think, be drawing stuff like, Cataclysm.
Yeah, I always want to draw Cataclysm against the deck with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 lands in play.
A lot of lands. And this is Terminus. Costs 2 mana. I imagine we'll just see a bounce of the Thalia.
Yep. And then a Swords.
Sure.
For another 2 mana.
I mean, that's perfectly fine for Jameson. Yeah. He has a backup Thalia. That's great for him, really.
And now Dan's sort of expended quite a few resources.
His whole turn.
Did he just put the Terminus on the bottom?
I don't know. Where is it? I think he did. Interesting. So Terminus, yeah, puts cards on the bottom, not itself, but All right, it is on the bottom. Clearing up some stuff here. That was a little bit of a weird one.
We do not subscribe to Pro Tour rules. Camera does get an advantage.
It does.
An advantage of following the rules. What an advantage.
Yeah. Let's have a 10-minute discussion at the table. What just happened.
All right, so Spirit of the Lamp. Oh, it looks like he does have I think it must be a 1 of, maybe a 2 of.
Maybe. I think he copied a list that did well in Texas.
Okay.
A list that I hate, but that's fine.
Go figure. Greg hates something.
The guy was playing I don't actually know if he copied everything. He was playing a bunch of Sarah Avengers. I think I just told Jameson to cut them though.
Of course. All right, so
it's also a foiled Japanese Spirit of the Labyrinth, so that's hot.
Oh yeah. All right, so Dan gonna fetch here. Looks like a volcanic island. It's a sweet altar. So interesting that Jameson has tapped out here of his Caracas, sort of exposing his Thalia to removal spell.
Yeah, totally. Like another Terminus or something.
We'll see if Dan has the third Terminus, this would be?
Yeah, Dan's gone through 2. We think he has 4 in his deck.
And there
it is, right on time. Yep, that is definitely a problem with tapping out there.
And this is going to just be a hard cast of Batterskull here.
Oh boy. So a nice thing that Jameson gets to do now is Flicker Wisp out the Germ token. So it's going to buy a lot of time because Dan's Hellbent.
Not a ton of time, though, because he can just go bounce and reactivate.
Oh, he drew.
God. What a draw.
That was a good time to draw that.
What a draw. I wonder what do you think he'll choose?
I don't know.
I think Dan's going to vote for the Germ.
Yeah. I probably would.
Wow. What a top deck.
It's really good against these decks. It's really good. And it's also exiled, if that matters.
I'm not going out and fixing it.
I will go. Come on, guys. Tighten up. Tighten up. Also, someone asked in the chat about Anafenza. I think it's okay. I haven't played a ton with it.
Yeah. All right, we see a top activation, and there's a Stoneforge Mystic. Not a ton going on there. I'd imagine he's just going to draw the Stoneforge Mystic and cast it. Yeah, they're just double-checking the wording on Council Judgment, making sure that it exiles the card it does. Let's see what we got here.
They did not know what exiles.
Oh, boy.
Gotta read the cards.
And Dan just going to draw and play a Stoneforge Mystic here. Pretty excellent in the face of this Flicker Wisp, especially knowing that he had the Jit on top.
Oh boy. Does Jameson have any cards left in hand?
Jameson, I think, yep. Swords of Lashers.
So it looks like he was playing and equipping the Jit as well there. I think he was just saying it while he was shuffling.
Yeah. And then we see a top in response. There is a Force of Will, but there's no blue card.
It's Force of Will and 2 lands. So yes, the Jitte is in play. The Stoneforge is exiled. Dan gained a life.
And Dan's under the gun now.
He is. Jameson, if you can draw gas, I think he drew a Revoker.
Oh, Revoker would be excellent here. Turn off this top.
You might turn off the Jit.
Turning off Jit is also completely reasonable.
My instinct is also like always turn off top.
Yeah.
But like here you really just can't afford to let him equip the Jit at all.
Yeah.
Like you have 2 creatures that die straight up to it. Obviously this is not great if Dan finds another Terminus. It's the 4th one in the deck though.
And it looks like Dan is whiffed on everything.
It's a bunch of land.
Yeah. He drew Force of Will for turn.
Okay.
And saw 3 lands on top. There's a wasteland. It's going to get rid of a red source and attack for 5.
This is lethal unless they have a different life total.
I guess they probably have a different life total. Let's assume he's at 1.
Sure. And this should be game.
We'll see. Dan getting ported in his upkeep off his other red source. He's going to activate. Oh my god.
Is that the last Terminus?
Yes, it is.
Well, great.
In your upkeep.
Oh my god. 4th Terminus.
Getcha.
Sounds great.
Tapping 2 mana on accident. Put him on the bottom. Wow.
Oh my god. I hate Terminus. Let that be a
Stoneforge
creature.
Mystic. What a draw.
Good rip.
1, 2, 3, 4, and Dan is
just,
1 mana off from being
We
able to
don't
cast
know
Force
what
Will.
life he's at either. Doesn't he have a land in his hand?
Yes, but it's a fetch land.
If he's at 1...
I believe he's at 1. I believe he must have missed a ping somewhere.
If he's at 2, maybe it matters?
Yeah. So Jameson getting a sweet Japanese foil Batterskull.
Petrunkin Fat, I believe, is Wilson Hunter.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Someone who respects your prowess.
Yeah, I think that their podcast group gives a lot of respect to Death and Taxes because they know that I listen. And they're being nice to me.
Ah, yes, pandering.
Because they're Storm and Miracles aficionados, so like other classic Legacy decks, probably 2 of the best decks in the format.
Oh yeah.
You play Storm, you don't respect my deck at all.
Nope.
You also play Elves though, so maybe that's the reason.
Correct. All these things are valid answers.
Yeah. So Jameson,
TX Rager, he only had 4 mana untapped.
right?
For Force, because he topped. Yeah, he had a few lands tapped from Port top, and I think that was it.
Do you know what he searched for there?
Yes, Batterskull.
Okay.
So Dan's trying to figure out what he can do. He has a Snapcaster Mage on top of his deck.
Okay.
So he can draw the Snapcaster and flashback a Swords to Plowshares.
Sure, why not?
It looks like he's just going to pass here. Jameson's just going to put it in this Batter Skull.
Seems okay.
Yeah, not terrible at all.
I don't know if I do it. Actually, I guess you want to maybe avoid Vendilion Click if at all possible. Also drew Mother of Runes.
That seems fine to run out there. I feel like this card's that card's not getting better.
I think both players have drawn very well this game, frankly.
Yes. All right, so we
Dan
see
has drawn all 4 Terminus.
Here's a flashback. I'd imagine this is targeting Swords to Plowshares. Greg is one of 10 listeners we must pander.
Yeah.
Respect.
Yeah.
Respect.
I comment on every single one of their podcasts. Like multiple.
Go figure. You're involved, so to speak.
Arbor, Jameson has only been playing this deck for a few weeks. He's definitely still learning it. He's also not actually very familiar with Legacy in general.
No, he does not play a lot of Legacy.
And like Death and Taxes, I think is actually a deceptively hard deck to play, especially if you just don't know the format. If you know the format, a lot of the things make a lot more sense in terms of like using Phyrexian Revoker, using Rishadan Port, using Wasteland.
Yeah.
But it's a metagame deck. You know, it's a control deck.
Yeah.
You have to know your matchup.
It's dependent on knowing exactly how you interact with your opponent.
Yes.
Warmac, Dan, I thought that the snapback Terminus plan was going to be a possibility. The problem with that is that Jameson has been aggressively Rishadan porting. And he was going to need to hit 2 land drops in order to get there.
Also, it looks like Jameson traded with Snapcaster there.
Is that...
Jitte is going to be able...
Did the...
I think he swords the Germ token?
Yeah, he did.
Dan's just going to be able to eat Stoneforge in response to...
Batterskull being brought back to the hand?
Or equipped.
I mean, that doesn't really matter, though, right? Like, theoretically, Jameson's just going to be able to recast this Batterskull with enough time. I would probably even attack.
You also could actually... So he actually missequenced this. You activate Stoneforge first.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
And then you hold priority, and yeah, I mean, it didn't come up because Dan did not respond by killing the Stoneforge, which is a little confusing.
Man, Dan is crawling back in this game. He drew another Snapcaster Mage, which is going to be able to snap back. I think he has another copy of Swords to Plowshares in his graveyard.
Yeah.
He has not given up, fighting through all this.
How many lands does he have? He has 7.
5, 6, 7. Yeah, he has 7 lands.
If he's at 1, he can't fetch.
Correct. To me, that's the only reason I wouldn't have played this fetch land, is that I'm at 1.
Yeah.
All right, so here we see a Snapcaster Mage. I'd imagine this is going after another Swords to Plowshares.
Mm-hmm.
If he's at 1, it's kind of surprising that Jameson didn't just attack.
Yeah, maybe they have different life totals from what we have.
Yeah, I think that's got to be it. So we see a Brainstorm, 3 lands. That can't be good. So Dan's hand is 4 lands and Force of Will.
And a fetch we think he can't use.
And I'm pretty sure this is the 1 Force of Will he left in his deck. I think he boarded out 3 of his 4.
Yeah, Petruncan calling out the Stoneforge play that we were talking about earlier.
Yes, that is sort of a common tricky Stoneforge play to get around stuff like Vendilion Click. Although it doesn't actually get around Vendilion Click.
Yeah.
It gets around removal on Stoneforge.
It got around this scenario, which actually doesn't come up very often.
Ooh, we see a Pithing Needle drawn from Jameson.
Pithing Needle on Jitte is okay.
Yeah, completely reasonable.
Also on top is okay. Looks like he's topping in response. Found Counterspell and 2 lands.
Might actually just draw this Counterspell. Yeah.
Sure. That's okay.
That seems fine. Like, what else is that Counterspell going to do?
Nothing.
Yeah. But Jameson still gets to attack with this Batterskull here, which is going to be a problem. Getting in with both, we're going to see a block there, and...
He can gain 4 life to stay at 1?
Yep. And Jameson's going to gain 4 to 30.
Okay.
This is still a really tough spot for Dan, especially knowing that he has not a lot of gas going on.
Also, the players only have 10 minutes left, and this is game 2.
We're going to see a port on a volcanic island. Dan's going to draw a top. Play his 2-mana top. Take a look at the top 3 cards.
I love 2-mana top.
And
Stoneforge.
Find Stoneforge. That's not going to do it here.
Sure.
He's just going to die. Yep, die to lethal attackers. Wow, that was a sweet game.
It was pretty good. 4 Terminus.
4 whole Terminuses.
It's not often that Death and Taxes could fight through 4.
but we just saw it.
In my experience, at least against miracles, you can fight through like commonly you can fight through like two terminus and maybe a swords, or like 3 swords and a terminus or something like that.
Well, here's the thing. Once they've swords you 3 times and cast 2 terminus, you're certainly not beating the Entreat the Angels.
Yes. That is the difference between Dan's deck and Miracles.
Yeah, they have that late game punch is just
Entreat the Angels, I don't know why all these American players dislike it. The card is absurdly powerful.
I'm like medium on it.
It's a crazy card. I guess there's
Crazy
more.
American?
Yeah, exactly.
There's more
all
like
these crazy. Americans.
there's like I guess more Death and Taxes in Europe, so like it's
Sure.
maybe more of a draw to that.
The thing that I like about it in particular is that it means you don't have to play a bunch of lands, because usually like 3 Angels just kills them so fast.
Yeah.
Like that's the bonus for me, is that you can kill them fast enough.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. It's still a clunky card, and it's still another card, like one of many cards in your deck that just sucks to draw on the early turns, and that's when you have trouble.
Right. Taylor Spain. This is. It seems more like a hybrid version.
Yeah. It's not a Miracles deck. Like
yeah.
It is more of a Stoneblade deck than anything else.
It has Terminus and top.
Yes.
It has Stoneforge. It doesn't have Counterbalance.
Nope. Doesn't have Counterbalance. Doesn't have Entreat the Angels.
So we're not really calling it Miracles.
Yeah. It's a weird. It's closer to Stoneblade it's just like Stoneblade with a bunch of Wraths.
Yeah.
And decided to play tops to go along with Wraths.
Yeah, it's not too far off from like the old Joe Burrell version that ran like heavy Supreme Verdicts.
Yeah.
Sure. Just no Lingering Souls.
Right. No, instead of he has tops and terminuses instead.
Or no main deck Flusterstorms.
In
Yeah,
most
well,
matchups,
Joe's a psycho.
Yeah, in most matchups, like this, the setup is fine too. Like you have that better late game in Stoneblade, anyways.
Yeah.
You
Stone Control.
no.
All these names.
Arbor One makes a good point in the chat. That D&T is not just rush aggro.
Definitely, it's not White Weenie.
Definitely not.
It's not White
It's
Weenie.
not White Weenie, despite whatever Craig Wesco would try to lead you to believe. And no matter how many Sarah Avengers he shams in the deck, don't follow his lead.
Ah, yes, the turn 1 draw Terminus.
Natural Pithing Needle.
Toss out that Pithy Needle on that.
It's pretty
that
good.
Jameson not even ticking it up. Whatever.
Yeah.
I respect it.
I would tick it up to 3 and leave it there, because there are scenarios where you will Flicker Wisp out. Like it happens. You can Flicker Wisp out the Pithing Needle to get an activation.
Yeah.
Just like a mana burst if you really need it.
Yeah, that seems reasonable. Yeah, I think it's certainly correct to keep ticking it up.
Yes.
There's no benefit not to.
Yeah, Petrunkin, we did the raffle before this round, unfortunately.
Yeah, we gave away an Italian copy of Sylvan Library.
Italian Legends.
Sorry, Petrunkin.
Missed out. It's okay. You can't play it in Storm. Immediately the Wafflers start.
Everyone trying to join the Waffle, go to IHOP. I don't know.
Make sure this raffle is closed. All right, we got another Swords. Is that another Swords? No. So we see that Jameson is just going to deploy a Phyrexian Revoker and a Mother of Runes this turn. I wonder what that is naming.
Inkmoth Nexus, I believe the winner of the raffle was Jay Petty.
Yes.
And also people talking about how to describe Death and Taxes. The Danish players call it mono white control.
I like that name.
It's pretty accurate.
Mono white creature control.
Mm-hmm.
No creature.
Just mono white.
Yeah,
Mono-white
mono white control. Sounds cool, right?
Yeah. Here's an awkward engineered explosives for 1. And a pass. I mean, it will blow up the vial at least.
It also blows up the mom and turns on all future vials.
Ooh.
Why would you?
Well, I don't know. I don't agree with that one yet.
Yeah, just wait. So yeah, if he just waits on the second vial, it's amazing for him, because Dan 2 for 2s, and then Jameson gets to replay his best card. I don't understand that.
Oh no, we just get to see a Stoneforge Mystic from Dan. Now an activation of the explosives. Interesting that Jameson didn't port. Chose not to port this turn, so gave Dan access to an extra mana.
So he left up Swords to Plowshares, but he might have been able to just like keep Dan from even casting the spell.
Yeah,
especially I like that strategy a lot better.
Especially given that that Dan has missed a land drop once. Like
you poured him off of white.
Yeah. So we'll see what Jameson decides to do this turn. I'd imagine just an attack with Phyrexian Revoker. Yeah, looks like his hand is just...
Ooh, another thing. So he drew Flicker Wisp. He could Flicker Wisp out the Engineered Explosives to take the charge counter off of it.
Oh, wow. Yeah, unfortunately he doesn't have a second white.
Yes.
All right, so we see Dan...
Port on the wrong land. Typically you want to hit the white source because hitting blue, they can brainstorm in response.
Yes.
So yeah, typically you want to take white.
He's start picking it up.
Yeah.
There you go. He's realized that. What are you gonna do?
Let's see what Jameson's gonna decide.
Especially if he realizes, if he draws the white source. What does he have? Looks like he's looking at Flicker Wisp. I mean, just keep beating down and keep porting. He hasn't drawn land yet.
Neither is Dan.
Yeah.
So we see a swords. I'd imagine this mom's gonna protect it.
Totally.
I think that's fine there. Like
that sounds like the bait swords to me.
Yep. And Dan just gonna keep letting this happen. I think Dan is just like not worried in the context of what Jameson's presenting him with. He has like no desire to blow up this explosives.
If there's a Thalia, then things get a lot hairier.
Correct.
Looks like he's
Whoa,
cannot do that.
whoa.
He cannot do that.
Yeah.
Pithy Needle turns off all copies of Aether Vial, not just the one. Thalia was a good draw. He's just gonna cast it. Oh boy. Alright. We're learning how our cards work.
Yep. Alright.
These guys are 2-0.
Crushing it!
Yeah.
Alright, let's see. We got Jameson attack for 2 here. I love that this deck just has these like terrible beatdowns though. Like maybe
you're on a beatdown deck.
Yeah, I know, but it's you know adorable.
Mm-hmm.
Like watching it happen, just in real time.
Sure. Looks like Jameson had a choice here of, well, he had the choice again of porting white or blue. He also had the choice of playing Thalia or porting.
And he went with port.
Yes.
I think that's fine.
It's okay. Looks like he's using the 2 mana just to blow up all the ones. I would definitely activate. Yeah, he's activate. Or did he pick up his cards? Yeah, he wants to give pro white. I mean, it only comes up if Dan draws white source and has swords.
Dan has 2 Terminus in his hand.
That's the way you always want things to go.
Yeah.
Usually, I mean, the easiest way. All right, drawing white source is great.
Oh, and he has both
Mom
runes
and Thalia.
Yeah. And Thalia seems just as good as porting here, if not better.
Yep.
The only thing this is worse against is a top deck Terminus.
Yes. Top deck Terminus would be devastating for Jameson.
And Dan does not draw that. Let's see if Dan draws a land here. See if he can get back in this game. Nope.
Does he have 8 cards now?
He discarded a hand size last turn.
Okay.
He has 2 Terminus Rager.
Yeah, GTL Starburst definitely should have been tapping white against any white-blue control deck. Hitting the white sources is huge because you turn off like Swords to Plowshares that they draw for the turn. Also, a lot of the blue spells are instant speed.
So we do see Flicker Wisp here with a Containment Priest out. So Jameson should not Flicker Wisp any of his own creatures.
Yes.
Right.
Hopefully he knows how that one works. Because it doesn't work well for him.
No.
I mean, you can Flicker Wisp out the Containment Priest just to give more beatdowns, but even that's not great. Dan also had 8 life here.
I like what Jameson is doing here, just going straight to double ports.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Make him draw multiple lands in a row to do anything.
Yeah, this is like exactly the sort of game that Death and Taxes wants to play.
Yeah.
Just making your life miserable.
Yeah, Rishon Port.
Yeah,
it's a great card.
It really is, isn't it? So Jameson deciding here, I'd imagine that Dan's just going to double block.
That's fine.
I think I would be interested in it just because a Sword Splashers costs 2 mana,
Mm-hmm.
and then he can't double port unless he has a land.
Yeah.
He's just going to chump block, though.
He's going to chump.
I think that's also fine.
Double blocking seems cool, though.
It's sort of... It's really bad if Jameson has a land, is the downside.
Looks like he's playing Flicker Wisp. I think I'd be more interested in keeping up double port. I mean, this doesn't actually let him... This doesn't do anything. The land's going to come back right now.
Whoa.
The land's coming back end of turn. What?
Oh.
No, that's not how Flicker Wisp works.
Oh, boy. Learning new interactions today. There we go. So yeah, we're that land coming back right there. You misread the card?
Yeah.
Okay. He thought it was controller's end step?
Yeah.
I see. And unfortunately, Dan's still not drawing lands. This is pretty unlucky for Dan here. James, don't you dare say this is embarrassing. This is glorious. I'm enjoying every minute of
I
this.
love mana
I mean, like, Dan is just getting savagely mana screwed here, and there's no way around it.
Yeah, Death and Taxes is definitely a deck that is built to pounce on mana screw.
Oh my god, yeah. If you could pick your deck based on knowing your opponent's gonna mana screw themselves.
Also, Aether Vial costs 2. Oh boy.
I would go out there and correct it, but I just don't think it's gonna matter.
The game's just over.
Yep.
I'm not going out again.
Nope.
I can't.
There we go. They're
realizing he just can't cast it. Yeah.
Adventures in Thal. No lands.
Lots
Still
of
no
spells.
lands. Oh, we finally hit a land that last turn. But.
So it's a good. So my question: which deck is better at punishing mana screw? Rug Delver or Death and Taxes? Or they just built to do it equally well?
I'd say they're both pretty equal. Like as far like. Both of them are very, very, very ridiculous against your mana screwed opponents. Like, I think I would prefer to play Rug Delver just because like it gives your opponent even less of a feeling of them being in the game.
Okay.
Like okay, scenario: your opponent keeps a 1-lander with a Ponder, but their land's a fetch land and they're on the draw.
Yeah.
You go Misty Go. They go land fetch. You stifle it.
Yeah.
Game.
Pretty good. Yeah.
Game. They could have gotten a basic. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
You're dead.
That's
You're
very
dead
true.
now.
So Rug Delver can lead to more like complete non-games.
Yeah. Oh,
I
I think
quick non-games. Like one turn.
Yeah,
like,
and the fact that it just kills so much faster.
Yeah.
Like Death and Taxes will punish you if you're mana screwed, but it'll still just be like.
Yeah.
Just like putting
Phyrexian Revoke.
Yeah, they're putting you foot first through the grinder and
Yeah.
attacking you with like Goblin Pikers all over.
Yeah.
But Rug Delver's just like, all right, turn 1, 3/2.
Mm-hmm.
You go like play a spell. They're like daze it.
Right.
You'd use the dual land, so they wasteland you.
Mm-hmm.
But then they have 1 mana up, so you play a fetch land and you stifle it.
Yeah.
Like it's just a complete nightmare when they do what they're supposed to do.
Right.
And they kill you very fast. And like in my experience playing elves, they're really good at drawing 3 bolts.
Okay. That sounds like it bodes well for you.
Every time I play, I love it. Every time I play elves versus like a Rug Delver type deck, I just get bolted 3 times.
Yeah.
It's never my creature. The first one will go to creature, but then the next 2 go to my face.
Sure.
Unless I play against you, of course.
Yeah, then I don't draw any bolts.
No, it's great.
Yeah.
I think you drew 1.
Yeah, I
2
drew
games.
1. Yeah, did not draw a Rough Tumble.
Nope.
I think that match taught me that I need to practice with Rug Delver.
Likely.
Or I should just stick to my strengths. And still lose to elves, but, I'll just dodge Phil.
Look, it's okay. Everyone loses to elves. Except Peter. Peter's always beaten me.
Yeah, Niam, it's only 3 rounds tonight. We only had 8 people show up.
Yeah, a little unfortunate. Few things just combined to make it so that it was awkward for us today. Like, people still out of town.
Right.
Weather's starting to get nice, so people are, like, wanting to go outside, which is weird. I'm not into that.
Yeah.
And then, just awkward circumstance more than anything else.
Right. So we'll probably be wrapping up the stream a little early tonight. Do you guys want to just like throw any questions you have in the chat? I feel like I don't feel satisfied.
You don't feel satisfied? You're not ready.
I just want to talk a little bit more.
Go figure.
See, good questions. Where did I get this polo? I got it on the clearance rack at J. Crew.
It is definitely salmon. That is a super accurate color.
Yeah, if you ever seen that episode of Friends, this is approximately the same color as Ross's sweater.
Oh,
I believe.
That's great. That's a reference I didn't get because that show sucks.
All right, it didn't suck. It's not amazing, but it definitely didn't suck.
Bad.
Okay.
Is bad. What thickness of razor do you use for your shit?
I shaved, I think, 2 days ago.
2 days ago. Look at you go.
Yeah.
Growing a beard, finally?
No. I'm probably going to shave tomorrow.
Why am I such a dream? I was born this way.
Yeah.
I don't have to do much. I appreciate Sharkula asking the preeminent internet question. I think about that every day. How is Babby formed?
Babby?
Have you seen that post? Oh my god. What are you playing on Sunday?
I'm playing Merfolk.
Yeah, you're playing. He's playing Wanderwine hubs.
Blue-white Merfolk. I have Japanese Wanderwine hubs. It's probably the coolest looking card. I'm gonna pull them out. They look amazing.
Everyone in the chat is sitting there and they're just like, What do these Japanese Wanderwine hubs look like?"
Yeah. So it's in my GP New Jersey deck box.
Oh, so fancy.
I will be casting these spells on my GP New Jersey playmat.
James, I'm gonna put you in timeout for asking about Gamergate.
Asking about what?
Don't worry about it.
Okay, cool.
Show me your Wanderwine hubs.
I'm looking for a Wanderwine hub. They're not in the top. They look awesome.
Look at them.
I'm gonna first show my Junior Super Series promo Lord of Atlantis's.
Look at that guy.
Got 4 of those.
Oh, they're not even Time Spiral foil? They're
nope.
JSS?
JSS.
Probably
one of my favorite cards that I own, actually.
Look at these.
That is a Japanese Wanderwine hub. I have 4. It's amazing.
I'm so proud of you.
They look cool.
Really impressive. Really, I gotta say.
I got my deck list from Illinois State runner-up Simon Camero.
He's the true champion.
He definitely is the true champion because he beat the person he conceded to in the finals in the Swiss, and he went undefeated in the tournament. He went 5-0 double draw. This was at Pastimes on Sunday. He went 5-0 double draw, won his first 2 rounds, not losing a game in top 8, and then conceded to Michael Posgay so we could all leave.
It helps that these Merfolk decks don't have Lightning Bolt. Or they aren't playing against... sorry, that was a bad phrase. When I was playing Merfolk, I thought that Jund was a very hard matchup.
Oh, yeah.
And I think Jund is much more difficult than Abzan.
Jund is definitely going to be harder than Abzan.
This is also at a time where people were playing stuff like Hunt Master of the Fells, which is just not beatable.
It seems tough.
It's
it's
really
another
bad.
thing you can swords.
Yeah,
Or path
like
or
you
whatever.
can path it. I wasn't playing path it this time. I was playing Vapor Snag. Vapor Snag. There's a point when Vapor Snag was actually quite a bit better than Path to Exile, because you can Vapor Snag a Birds of Paradise.
Yeah. So Simon Warmack in the chat, he has white bordered Lord of Atlantis's.
White bordered Lord of Atlantis.
Oof.
I'm into it. That sounds great. I would prefer white border.
Jund is better than Abzan. So I think Warmack's making that
better?
claim right now.
Yeah.
It's better than Abzan.
I'd imagine. Okay, so the way that Jund decks used to be built, I would imagine there are a lot of really problematic things. Like there are a lot of things you have to Path to Exile. Like at least like Tidebinder Mage does quite a bit of work. Yeah. But like, what if they cast Olivia Voldaren?
Olivia Voldaren is a problem.
They can't kill Master of Waves though. Like the Jund decks, like
they have like maybe a Maelstrom Pulse or something.
Maybe, yeah. Maybe. Like they might not. They just might not ever be able to kill it. Like that's usually the deck has like a bunch of Terminates and Bolts and like Abrupt Decays.
Right.
If any. Like Reed's most recent list only had no ways to kill Master of Waves. Why do you like a non-douchebag?
You are like. I think he's saying you are like Arilax. I think that's a Jew comment, frankly.
Maybe. It could be.
Maybe not.
Ari's a cool guy, though. I like Ari.
Yeah. I met him briefly at a GP. He seems cool.
Rabble Jund in Modern. Zinni has lost his mind.
Oh, yeah. He also was trying to do that in Legacy.
Yeah, he did try that. To medium effect, if I remember correctly.
You want to just make your deck worse against Twin.
Yeah, why not? There's some Rabble Masters in there.
Yeah.
It's pretty adorable.
The tokens get blocked by Deceiver Exarch, and the Rabble itself just gets bolted.
Fantastic card.
Or Grim Lavamancer.
Grim Lavamancer, I'm like really happy that card is making a comeback, because it's just a really sweet card.
It is a sweet card, and if you play that card, do yourself a favor, get the old art. It's a lot better than new art.
Nope, don't have them. Not playing them.
They're very cheap. Just do it.
Let's pull them up. I like the weird, like, the color scheme on the new one is so strange. Like, look, what are these purples?
Yeah, you don't
Why
put
is he purple?
Don't put purple on a red card.
Like,
it doesn't look good.
I think it looks it's so confusing because it looks like they use sort of similar fire effects that they had to the old one.
Yes.
Like, look at these weird
the curly lava magma stuff.
It looks like lava. And he's wearing like this crazy blue cloak. It looks
this
like
is badass.
But then we have purple, and purple is just great. I love it.
No, I'm horrible.
You're learning.
Yeah, fashion advice from Salmon Shirt Schaefer.
All right, I'm gonna change my shirt later.
Oh, okay.
Like
I don't buy
tonight.
I like it.
Thank you.
See?
Jameson likes
Support.
No, I do. I meant to say something earlier. Like, it's actually like summer. It's like a summer spring shirt. Like,
Look at you go.
it's actually not bad.
Thank you.
I'll wear my purple polo next time, so we can have like some good vibrant colors going.
That sounds
back
good.
here.
I'm gonna wear a suit sometime and be like Cedric.
Really?
No.
No, you're not.
I'm not going to do that.
I got dressed up for an interview yesterday, and I felt like I felt very weird. So I've been like usually when I go to an interview and wear like close to a suit, I'm like the most overdressed guy in the room, and I feel super awkward.
Well, it depends on where you're interviewing at.
That's the thing. Like,
if you're interviewing at Blaze Pizza,
I won't show up in a suit there. No, it was like my old job in Boston. I worked at it was like sort of a tech company, and I showed up in a suit for my interview, and no one. The guy who interviewed me was wearing a t-shirt and jeans, and I was like, well, this is super awkward.
You know, it never hurts to be overdressed.
Yeah.
Probably. Maybe.
All right. Should we start wrapping things up?
I guess we should wrap it up, yeah. I'm satisfied. We talked.
Yeah.
We had a good little chat.
Oh, great. But I want to thank all of our viewers for tuning in. I want to thank a couple people, mainly our viewers, for tuning in. You guys wouldn't be possible without you guys. And I want to thank our gracious host, MTG Card Market, as always.
We had the sweet giveaway tonight. An Italian Legends copy of. Yeah, you wanna.
Biblioteca Silvestre.
Sylvan Library for the non-Italians in the stream.
Yeah, absolutely.
Or the non-Romance language students.
Yeah. In any case, thanks for tuning in, everyone. The stream will be back on tomorrow night, I imagine. Yeah. Mark is going to be probably drunk.
Playing Moto and drunk. A couple shout-outs, I guess.
Shout-out to South Florida Magic.
Yeah, South Florida Magic on Sundays. They have Legacy content.
Mm-hmm.
I've watched a bit, and they get a lot of viewers.
Yeah,
it's awesome. They filled a post-SCG niche.
Yeah, exactly.
Also, call out Gabby Sparts. I think she's streaming tonight. We're both friends of Gabby. She's a local here, and we like to support each other's streams.
Absolutely.
So if you guys want to watch, I think mostly Standard and Draft.
Yes.
Also, yeah, we call out Mark's stream tomorrow on WUBRG. And yeah, if you guys like the content that we put out today, be sure to like our channel on Twitch, like Villanis just did right now. Good timing.
And Fat is Awesome and Dr. Otker.
Also, if you want more updates about when we're streaming, we post those on Facebook a lot of the time.
And
like
Twitter.
Yeah, Facebook and Twitter. So you can follow us there. That's Steven Dang, PTQ Sicko.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I guess that's about all we've got for tonight.
Thanks. Thank you, Simon, for telling me. Why are you showing the back of a card?
I thought it was an MTG card market sleeve.
All right. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. We will be back with live Magic Monday, 7 p.m. from Dice Dojo. Bye-bye.